back watching some NBA basketball. Great to be watching my favorite television show last night once again inside the NBA. Great to see that ESPN didn't ESPN it on night one.
All good things, Billy.
A lot of good vibes here on this early, albeit again, very early Thursday morning in the Good Land.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of good vibes. NBA season is underway, which is a big deal for some, and for others it's a passing thought. I understand that, but however,
some hits like a fart in the wind in the middle of October,
which is somewhat understandable. I mean, the NBA has become kind of a playoffs league. However, with the Bucks, I think we have to pay more attention early season now, more than ever, more than we have at any time in the last 8 to 10 years, because this is a completely new Bucks experience that we're going to be experiencing, and they kicked it off great last night. At Fiserv, I saw Pat Murphy in the crowd with the kiddos. That was great to see. A lot of good vibes. Andrew Ludwig is in the house. We'll hear from him.
We like that. Yes,
we'll like that as well. We'll hear from him about the media meal soon. But yeah, a great start for the Bucks playing the Wizards, who of course aren't great, but a nice way to start the thing. 40-23. The way it came out in the first quarter, Billy, was great. A great welcome to the league, or welcome to the season for the home crowd there. And I think for all Bucks fans viewing, wanting to see exactly what this new look Bucks team is going to be all about. A lot of pace, a lot of high scoring opportunities, a lot of Giannis doing his thing inside, which is what we like to see. So I said to myself after that first quarter, when they were up 40-23, I said, if all quarters go this well the rest of the season, we're the NBA champions.
It's going to be hard to beat.
We're going to do it. If we're going to do it, if we have every quarter like this and we average 160 a game, which we didn't end up with, obviously, but the Bucks easily take home the victory last night, which was a nice way to kick the season off and a nice way to kick off the new look Bucks, which I think is going to be fun, Billy, and more important than ever, important to have a great early season than we've had in like the last 8 to 10 years to get Giannis, if nothing else, get the fans, but get Giannis energized about what he could have here in Milwaukee with this young, exciting unit.
Yes, and I would agree that also being able to show and highlight a little bit of the good that you did in the offseason, the little bit that you were able to do. Some of your guys that we've been talking about that might be a little bit splashy, a little bit new, showed out last night. Now, Kevin Porter Jr. showed out until the ankle gave out.
That was a bummer.
I mean, that's an incredible start for him.
What
10 points, 9 minutes, absolute yam on top of CJ McCollum, a pair of triples, and then a very, very painful looking sprained ankle.
Yeah, he rolled that hard, which is a bummer because he's kind of the second centerpiece, I think, of your group this year with what you believe the backcourt potential could be. I think you know what you're going to get from Gary Trent, AJ Green, Taurean Prince, really good role players / bench players, but really good in their role. You saw it again from Gary Trent last night. He was just shoots 50% from three all the time.
That works.
I love that.
We'll take
but
that.
I think Kevin Porter's the guy, and you know this because I was trying to trade him last year for Durant.
You were trying to trade him for Kevin Durant most of the offseason. Most of the regular season.
Most of the season, yeah. He's the one talent I think that could possibly transcend to that all-star role if everything goes well.
Okay, you're saying a real blossom opportunity here from KPJ.
I don't know if this is the year, but he has the talent to do it, and man, you saw it early on when he was yamming and hitting threes last night and doing all of his, all those things. Unfortunately, only in 9 minutes, which is a bummer because you want him healthy. You want this young group to grow. So we'll see how bad the rolled ankle is.
It looked like in good spirits when he came back out on the bench, which is always good. Always good to be able to light the human victory cigar of Thanasis back on the floor. And when Thanasis gets 2 minutes, generally those are going to be good nights. And for him to be on the squad, I think is, again, a positive. Some people are wondering, Jericho Sims gets buried all the way down into the Thanasis role, but it's game one. A lot of things will grow, develop, move up and down the roster. AJ Green comes in, hits 3 threes. It starts off, hits the first bucket of the season after getting himself a 4-year extension. So nice things there. Miles Turner, 4 blocks. They ended up wiping one of them away, ended up now with 3.
They gave him 3, but I thought he had 4.
I was going to say, I thought it was 4 at halftime when they put up the graphic. Apparently one got deleted in the third quarter, which is interesting.
Yeah,
but hey.
And as you know, Billy, I mean, it is Doc Rivers. He's going to play young guys less, but maybe more is going to have to this year. So his rotations will change throughout the year. You talk about the human victory cigar role. Andre Jackson's in that role too now.
Yes.
Those days are gone for him, unfortunately, it seems like. But hey, a guy that everyone makes fun of, and we've made a lot of jokes about. Kyle Kuzma was 5 for 10 last night. It wasn't his worst showing, It
wasn't his worst showing. You're going to want to know what the best showing is for Kuz, because there were a couple of moments last night where you're just like, oh my goodness.
Oh, there's always going to be that.
Just a full Kuzma on display. However, positive last night.
Yeah, +7 in the box score. I would take that every night.
You'll take a +7 from the 23 Kuzma minutes any single time it happens. But there are a lot of times where, I mean, he drives the lane, looks still like a podcast being played on 1.25 speed. just a tick over the skis, right? Like it's just a little. You ever listen to a podcast on like 1.5 times?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You just, because some people that do podcasting go very, very slow. They're a little bit deliberate. They have a little bit slower pacing and they wait to get their point. So you want to get that thing going. You don't have that much time. You'll learn this once you have kids too, Letty. You only have about 20 minutes to be able to do anything. Generally, that would be 20 minutes that I'll take on the porcelain throne.
Sure.
Then I'll go listen to a podcast for 25 minutes.
So if you can shave off,
condense all of that.
Yeah, if you can shave off 5 minutes,
you got to do that anyway. Kuzma sometimes plays basketball as like he's a podcast on 1.5 times speed.
Yeah.
Just a little aggressive, a little excited. However, it worked last night as much as it needed to. You're playing the Wizards. They were the worst team in basketball a year ago.
Very important.
We will take that into account, but for the home crowd to be able to celebrate, and again, for us to be able to have one little sliver of highlights get played on inside the NBA way late last night, that's a good thing. And Giannis go for 37 and 14.
Did his thing. Another day at the office for Giannis.
And cap it off with a triple, which was fun at the back end of that game.
That was really fun. Another day at the office for Giannis. It seems like this is just just an everyday occurrence for him. The extraordinary is the ordinary for him, and that's going to continue, which we like to see. Fantastic game from him as well.
I am interested to see, though, Armin, sorry to cut you off.
You're good.
I'm interested to see if now that this new business-like, workman-like Giannis, if he's still serving up dad jokes.
We want him to be the Giannis. We want him to be the Giannis off the court.
He's yelling at people during practice.
Yeah, which is okay.
Getting on dudes, which is good. No pause.
He's a leader now. He's got to be that guy.
We want that. But I just want to make sure we're still getting the fun-loving, energetic, laughing Giannis that we've all come to know him.
That's a great point, Billy. We want to still see that guy off the court. We want to make sure
we can't lose that.
We can't lose that. When he goes to Philadelphia, that he's still getting a whiz-wit. And all of his foods and all these things. And he's making jokes.
Instagram post with a joke after a win.
Because I think those are the indications that we still have the same Giannis that we know and love. And that's going to be the storyline, right? I mean, the undercurrents of everything that goes on for the Bucks this year is how is Giannis acting? What's he feeling? What's his opinions? What does he want to do? Because that's going to be kind of hovering around us like a cloud until we get some resolution, which we might not, though, Billy. I did want to say, though, before I forget, the thing about Kuzma is funny. If you had him and Luke Musgrave both in a balance-off contest,
what
if they were in the logging competition with Bob Brainerd calling it somewhere on FS Wisconsin or something like that,
inside the
somewhere in Vilas County,
So Bob Brainerd's called. My guy Bob Brainerd is calling the outdoors game, the logging. Who's going to do better, Luke Musgrave or Kyle Kuzma on the log? Because they're both kind of that deer in the headlights.
Log wins.
Yeah,
the log is definitely victorious in that one.
Yeah,
I would say.
See, at least Musgrave's on cleats.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, that's gonna be harder.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Way harder. But listen, we're gonna go barefoot. We got to even the playing field.
What are they in his shoulder pads too?
We got to even the playing field.
I'm giving him credit. I'm saying it's harder to stay balanced in cleats than it is basketball sneakers, right?
Oh no. Yeah. Oh, so you're just changing the. No, I'm actually dealing with the here and now.
Okay,
I'm actually thinking logging competition. Whose footwork will be better? Yeah, correct. Now I'm interested. Now I'm into it. I'm gonna go Kuzma. Because I think he's got longer to go down. He might have more opportunity to catch himself. Musgrave a little thicker. He's going to fall a little. He's going to sink a little quicker.
He is, and that's what I'm worried about. So I think those are the two guys.
There,
I had to think of the Brewer, but I think if there's one guy from each team that has that sort of 1.25 balance problem speed. By the way, Luddy, just so you know, that's not the only type of video you can watch on 1.25 speed. Anyway, just for your own information to save time. I don't know if there's a Brewer like that. Is there a Brewer that's always falling over? I would have said like JJ Hardy or somebody.
Yeah,
Ryan Braun coming around third, heading for home.
Gomez would always fall over.
Both of those two, you'd have to go back in the Rolodex.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody really on this team other than, Sal would probably be the closest one
because he likes falling on.
Because he likes falling over.
Yeah.
But his is just he's trying to play to it, right? He's like, "Oh, guys, I'm into this. I'm hanging out. I'm competitive. I'm going to be into the game."
Sounds like all of us when we were like 7, 8, 9 years old, diving to catch into the couch just to do it because it was fun. I think he's that guy.
A couple of unnecessary dives, but he'll play into the role. Sal would definitely be victorious, though.
Definitely.
He's another football guy.
Hey, I thought of one more thing about the Bucks before I forget. And I know we've got
Armin Sarian.
I know we've got 4 hours
to have this potentially be something that your business sponsors. Armin's Just One Thing.
Please do.
Let us all know at iHeartMedia at Armin Sarian at iHeartMedia.com, and we can forward you to the correct information to
Indeed.
the fine sponsor of this young, growing, and aspiring radio program.
And the prices are negotiable. We can be
very
flexible.
negotiable.
We can be very, very flexible. Chris Middleton last night. That was an amazing, amazing time to get
Good
Chris
welcome back.
Good
No
welcome
doubt.
back. And I was thinking about what we thought about, and we can get into this longer with Rodgers and the return, not the return because it's in Pittsburgh, but seeing the Packers again and what you want to see, and if you're cheering for him or cheering against him and all these things. So Middleton had that perfect type of guy you love comes back game, right? He made shots, but he was not like he was minus 15 on the box score. It's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to see Chris out there making shots, enjoying himself, but also losing for his team. Like, you know, does that make any sense?
Very much the 23.6
6
boards that he had, but more importantly, 9 of 14 and 3 of 5 from downtown. You're exactly right.
Right.
That's a perfect soup.
Perfect.
That's where I get to see him make some shots. He had that little hesitation turnaround.
Enjoying himself.
5 feet away, little floater off the drive. So a little classic Money Middleton.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the minus 15 in the box score. Whenever he was in the game, it wasn't a game, which is nice to have.
Like something for the fans to appreciate him again, for us to appreciate, for him
You
to
didn't feel bad throwing the golf clap
good.
when he was able to knock down something.
I'm still good, guys. Like, here's why I can still do these things. I can still make threes, but don't worry. It's not going to be like I'm not in danger of beating your team.
Yeah, you can throw him, 2 plus threes into the parlay of the day.
That was perfect. Oh,
Cash
that was
that
great.
one.
Cash, baby. That was great.
Thank you, Milwaukee Bucks.
Thank you
Way to
so
welcome
much.
us into the season, no doubt about it.
And thank you, James Christian Middleton. Yeah, so that was really awesome. I mean, Chris's impact in Milwaukee is obviously beyond reproach. So it was awesome seeing him last night. Did they get tears from him, Luddy? Did you get any indication of that? That was the goal.
No, they zoom in on him in the huddle, like as soon as the video fades out, and it's all of a sudden you're seeing like the side of another guy's hip, and you're like, I can't even see him. Where'd he go?
Yeah, homeboy did stand up. I don't know who it was next to him, but stands up right into the camera shot. And it was a far from glamorous angle. Because they're sitting on the bench, and then again, my man,
white shorts,
6'7", white shorts. Stands up and eye level that thing. Like that was a tough spot. That was a tough spot for the cameraman to be in. But
the camera refound him, but I don't think he was.
They found him after. Again, I saw a video of the video on the Jumbotron, and they got him once he starts like waving. His back is to the camera, but yeah, it was going to be a great spot.
Loud pop
until maybe it was Keyshawn George. Just all of a sudden, my man just.
Or Carrington. I mean, they literally got a guy named
Bub Carrington. Yeah.
If I've just great opener because you can't be losing to a guy named Bub Carrington. Bub.
He played like Bub last night too.
Hey,
he was all over the place.
He's the only guy, Billy, you can't give the hey Bub to. Because
it's not nearly as disrespectful as I mean it to be.
Yeah. Hey Bub. Yeah. Is my coffee ready? My sandwich ready? Yeah. What do you need? What do you need?
Bub hit us with 3 of 4 from downtown. Player there.
He did all right. He did his thing. He's starting in the NBA.
Could be a worse lot in life. Other games in the association last night. I said that Joel Embiid and the 76ers, if they're healthy, look out. Joel Embiid, look out. 1 bucket last night.
Joel Embiid.
They did win in Boston.
They won without him doing anything, including jumping. He's got a great floor game. And when I say floor game, I mean he will
tell me more about the floor game.
He legitimately
the oldest looking 30. Well, how old is the guy now?
He's younger than me. So
he's the oldest looking guy.
32.
Joel Embiid is 31 years old.
I saw a guy.
Steve Austin Day, 316, baby.
I saw guys at the Y when I was taking my daughter swimming lessons in a Cayman Islands torn off T-shirt and Nike Air Monarchs.
Elevating more than
Joel Embiid. However, Billy, that's okay because you got all that talent in LA for the Clippers and a bag full of crap.
Dude, oh my God, is it bad?
They were down like 40 to the Jazz.
Well, just think though, that's all that aspiration.
That's exactly it.
More aspiration, more fire, more opportunity to believe and hope.
And he's getting paid, right?
Yeah, they got money. No doubt about it. They got money. Amen.
Well,
Amen to that one.
Interesting night in the association, that's for sure.
A good start to the NBA season. And if you're going to join in maybe in January, maybe in February, maybe in April, we'll keep you abreast of the information. We'll get into the NFL conversation, though, because it is front and center.
It is.
Holy Mike Francesa. It's week 8 in the NFL.
Week 8? What are you talking about? The horses in Schenectady? What's this guy talking about? What do you mean the horse?
Week 8 already? All of a sudden, it's going to be week 12, week 13, week 14, week 15.
Week 15? What do you mean the horses from Schenectady?
Almost the halfway point of the NFL season. It kicks off tonight. And division foe is in the limelight tonight in Lipstick City. We'll talk some Thursday night football and obviously hear more conversation. Packers and Steelers. Aaron Rodgers spoke yesterday about the Packers. Jordan Love spoke about Aaron Rodgers and Pittsburgh Steelers. Good things to hear from the quarterback, so we'll bring it to you. And we'll bring you Scott Dolphin conversation. Dolph is back into the building, steps into the studio on the other side. Matt LePay, Matt Miller, both into the third hour of the show. It's a banger of a Thursday. It's a thirsty Thursday. It's no BS on the game.
Losing down fourth and they watching me. I do a headstand and eagle lands on my seat. Well, hello, but baby, the kickstand ain't free. Now, do you or do you not want to ride with me? I got one girl, I got 2 wheels. She a big girl, that ain't a big deal. I like a big girl, I like them sassy.
You're listening to the Steve Zabin Show.
No lie, brah.
Driven by the Russ Darrow Group. Experience the Darrow difference. RussDarrow.com. And now, here's the Zabe.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1971.
February, 4 months after her death, Janis Joplin's album Pearl is released and goes to #1. The single Me and Bobby McGee also tops the chart. Bill Withers hits #3 with the single Ain't No Sunshine from his debut album produced by Booker T. Jones. In March of '71, Carole King releases her first solo album and scores 2 #1 singles, I Feel the Earth Move and It's Too Late. And UK progressive rockers Jethro Tull have a top 10 album on both sides of the Atlantic with Aqualung.
Running down his nose, greasy fingers smearing shabby clothes.
In April, the Temptations topped the charts with Just My Imagination, their third #1 and their 13th top 10 single. Three Dog Night have their second #1 single with Joy to the World. And the Rolling Stones album Sticky Fingers is released, including the #1 single Brown Sugar.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1971. Coming up.
the dolls. Love the dolls. Love
You
the
can't
dolls.
stop.
He knows us back. I don't know.
We're back after that. Thank you so much. Armin Sarian sings us back into No BS on the game. 1070 Madison. The score in Appleton and Oshkosh up in Iron River, or I should say Rhinelander. Iron River is where our friend Bill resides, who hits us up on the talking text line. You know, not even periodically. Every couple of days we hear from our friend Bill. He wakes up early with us at 6 a.m. as we start up, and Scott Dolphin steps into the studio here and returns after a couple of days hiking up in that area of the neck of the woods.
Yeah, we were in Bayfield County in Ashland. Had a great time up there. God, just gorgeous, that area. The Apostle Islands gets a lot of pub, but that entire area is just breathtaking when you get out in the hills and up into the bluffs.
Especially at this time of year.
Yeah.
Foliage. Oh my goodness.
It was funny driving up there because here we don't have a lot yet, but once you get to central Wisconsin, it's like a pretty peak.
Yes.
And then they're past peak a little bit in northern Wisconsin, but it was still
Really? That's
awesome.
interesting.
We had great weather, which was nice. Lots of sunshine and just beautiful.
Well, photosynthesis is a wild thing, you know, the chloroform.
It is.
Chlorophyll. Yeah, now that's an amazing. Now, this is a beautiful state. There's a lot of beautiful parts to it. That's one place I've never been. Isn't that what it is? Photosynthesis with the leaves, whatever. So
I think you're on.
My question for you is: we've been talking about Bayfield County, and we had a big issue the other day when was it Bill who said it?
It was Bill.
That there was no stoplights in all. I'm sorry, he said stop and go lights.
Stop and go
It's
lights.
a very Wisconsin thing in all Bayfield County.
Is that right?
Did you encounter any driving through Washburn? I mean, Washburn's the county seat up there.
You know, that's a great question. I would think if there's, we were in Ashland, which is in a neighboring county.
Sure, I get it. Yeah,
and that had stoplights, but when we were in Bayfield, I don't think there was. There's like blinker, flash, like you said, stop and go. I think there was a couple of those, but I don't remember.
But that doesn't
like
count.
a red stop
just a
sign
flashing
light.
red.
No,
Yeah.
we're not going with that.
No,
Okay, let's ride. I like that.
That's why he said stop and go.
I get it now.
True.
See, now I understand. Now I stand corrected.
Here you were trying to
Go on. That's wrong. Yeah.
way to own up to it. At least you did. Thank you.
What's crazy
I
was
wasn't going to.
before we started hiking, I didn't see any of Wisconsin. Now we're trying to mark off all the state parks. I think there's 50.
That was my next question. I was so, and I don't mean this in a rude way, but because I
really?
curtly ask the question: have you always been like this?
No.
Have you always been a vacationer that you take 3 days off?
No,
and then
yeah.
go to work?
Our vacation is we'd go to Mexico and we'd sit our ass on the beach for 7 days drinking.
Right. That's what I'm
Now-
thinking. Yes.
I've always been like
No.
Sorry, Doug Russell's one of my favorite guys in the building.
And he
He's
lo-
like this. He goes on vacation and goes and works and walks, and I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, he goes to national parks.
Yeah, let's go relax. a little bit.
They do say touch grass, which is what they do, Billy. I mean, they touch grass.
There's plenty of grass in Las Vegas.
COVID happened,
Is
and we gained
Mhm.
a lot of weight, so we decided we need to get off the couch, and that's what we did. And so we started hiking.
That's great.
For me, up north was Mequon before COVID.
Sure.
I love that.
And,
Yes.
and now
Ozaukee County is north.
I've been to every corner of the state,
wow.
and it's amazing what you don't see from the freeway when you get out into these these state parks.
There's
It's
a lot.
beautiful.
There's a lot to see when you get out on foot.
Inspiring.
And even Billy, I do like to do my walks. It's something I started doing years ago, the long walks and things like that. It was before COVID, but
I remember
a
this.
lot of people did it during COVID. We went. I think Laura and I went on a hiking trip in Michigan during COVID.
Did you?
Yeah, I was on Traverse.
there, Letty.
Is this something you could do, Billy? I'm not trying to like pat myself on the back. or anything,
No, I'm not. No,
but
I'm
there.
I'll
You ever
pat
go
you
to
on
the
back later.
You ever go to
There's
the
a
UP?
lot. We did, but for a wedding. We went to the we went to Mackinac Island. What did I missed something?
Go ahead.
Oh yeah,
Sorry,
Mackinac
go ahead.
Island.
We went to Mackinac Island for a wedding. Now that's a different type of deal. That is like tourist trap.
It is. No cars. No cars on Mackinac
No
Island.
cars, but they got plenty of horses and plenty of horse crap.
What year is this?
I'm sorry, the whole island
Get
smells
trinkets
like
to buy.
the whole island smells like poop. All right,
No kidding, right?
Plenty of
Like
trinkets.
champagne.
I don't know. You're talking about square mileage. It's not that big, but how many fudge places can one place have?
I don't know.
You
Hey,
can't-
Go to
have you been
Burlington.
to Door County?
Yeah, the per capita is pretty
I get
nuts.
it, and I've been to the Dells where it's saltwater taffy fudge and old time pictures.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I get it, but you cannot swing a cat around without hitting a fudge place on this tiny Mackinac Island, tiny. And it's cool. It's a cool place, except it's all horses, so it's all horse poop all the time.
Oh,
you know?
that's tough.
It's
That's
tough.
a tough deal.
Especially in the summer. Now that being said, I did enjoy it. It was nice, but
Yeah, because that stuff cooks during the summer.
you got
Oh,
the
yeah.
cooks. Now you got to get a bike and all that stuff, and we did that. We went bike I'm telling you, that's work. You're talking about, okay, I've had enough biking for one day. I've not been on a bike since my 10-speed Huffy back in 1999.
Yeah, same here, Armin. That's a problem too, because we'll bike occasionally. My wife will say, "Oh, they rent bikes here. Well, the problem is if you're not prepared to ride a bike.
Yes.
I mean, you got your bike. I don't own bike shorts.
Correct.
You just jump on and you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're looking for a Walgreens very soon.
Oh, it's brutal. Not only are you going to be sore, but you're gonna have the chafing.
I was going to say Gold Bond honestly should just be outside of bike shops. Correct, just sell it right there. When they
rent it should be right there behind the counter.
Right there next to the counter, kind of like they stock the liquor behind the gas station counter.
I found that out when we were in New Glarus a couple of years ago.
Get some beer?
Well, we tried. I mean, wouldn't you think that there'd be beer tours on a Saturday or Sunday? No, they're only open Monday through Friday.
What sense does that make?
We're there on a Saturday. We thought we'd go in and have a few spotted cows
on
the
weekend.
So instead, we rode a 25-mile bike ride, and I couldn't walk the next 3 days.
Why wouldn't you open a
golf after 5 miles? Wait, hold on. What the hell happened? I was supposed to be drinking multiple different beers. I was going to have some Moon Man and Spotted Cow.
Exactly.
And here I'm touching the moon because
fat
of the
squirrel.
25-mile bike ride. That's wow.
What happened?
What a flip of the dynamic.
That's why I prefer walking. It is nice to be able to go at your own pace sometimes and not have to worry about that part of it. Oh, they're going to watch out for the rattlers. They're around this state. I heard about that. And I couldn't believe it when I heard about that. That's crazy.
Thank God we haven't met a rattlesnake. We've seen a lot of snakes, little ones, garters.
Rattlesnakes here? Apparently there are in Wisconsin, which I don't believe. They're out there, bro.
Hey, there's next to Bigfoot.
Dude,
timber rattlers. Hello.
Timber rattlers.
All over the place. Yep.
But you just think of like Sedona, Arizona, the desert for rattlesnakes. Texas. You don't think of it here. So, yeah.
And all of a sudden you can pop one up in Menasha. You don't necessarily know, but I like that you're going through every corner of the state. Now, I don't mean to ask you to disparage different parts of it, but is that going to be your favorite area right there into that upper left corner? Cooley region is going to be upset down there?
I think it is, unless you're counting the UP as part of Wisconsin, which it should be.
Yes, it should be.
Yeah, I love that. Lake Superior is it for us. We just were fascinated by that, all the way from Duluth Superior, all the way over into where Armin was, towards the Mackinac Island, anywhere along that great Lake Superior pictured rock shoreline. It's unbelievable.
It's amazing. It is. It's a beautiful state, and we're lucky to be here.
I like that this morning show, though, can combat and swing and educate on just about every portion of the state, because Luddy, if it comes down to your favorite portion of the state, he will defend staunchly Eagle River territory in the North Woods. So we can go everywhere here.
Well, and I've also recruited basically every part of this state and Chicagoland, which I much rather would tour this state than the Chicagoland area.
Thank you. Yeah.
But basketball, football, or dating? I don't know what you're.
Yes. I will always pick.
You don't know what kind of recruits you find on a certain trip.
I'm just saying.
Listen, you can't just pigeonhole yourself into looking for one prospect.
Well,
you go to a gym. Right. How on earth would Aaron Rodgers have ever gotten that deal at Cal if Jeff Tedford had went to that?
To look for the tight end he was looking at.
He's not looking at the quarterback. He's just spinning it, and I'm not changing my viewpoints. Sorry, Letty.
Armin, it's simple. You just, if you are within anywhere in the Milwaukee area, just, put your radius to 100 miles and you get every girl in the Chicagoland area, basically. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Oh, you're talking about the dating apps?
Back to football recruiting. Yeah. So football recruiting, I truly like the northern part of the state. All the lakes up there, it's phenomenal. You got the most lakes all connected together, 28 of them in the Vilas County region. My gosh.
Red Hot Tim not asked the most important question here. Armin, why the hell are you swinging a cat around? I do like that you're bringing you can't swing a cat in that area without hitting a fudge shop. I'm glad that you're bringing that saying back.
Yeah, who first told me that was Needles maybe or somebody. One of the
you can't swing a cat. Well, you were on Mackinac Island where there's just horses and no cars. So
all animals.
That statement is probably pretty fitting for Mackinac.
Yeah,
that's fair. In the area, it plays out. It makes a lot more sense. Well, Dolph, before we left for the weekend, you had missed the moment, or we hadn't been able to discuss the moments that one Shohei Ohtani had against our Brew Crew on Friday night.
Legendary.
There are certain times where you watch and then you tip the cap and then you realize, wow, they're going to talk about this game for generations and generations. And that was one, sadly, at our expense on Friday night.
Yeah. The dude is, generational. I don't even think you can put Babe Ruth in the same conversation because he was such a young guy when he stopped pitching.
Right?
Ohtani's been doing this at a high level, both on the mound, at the plate. There's never been anybody like him in the history of baseball, has there? I don't know. I don't know what Cy Young's record was as a hitter.
It's hard
even
to
though
compare.
I'm a big Brooks Kieschnick fan, Armin, I can't
Yes.
even put them necessarily in the same
There
stratosphere.
were some pitchers that did hit well. Mike Hampton was a guy that was not that bad.
CC was a good hitter.
CC was really good, but to do it great at both levels. Now, Shohei hasn't been doing both consistently. Like they did take him off the mound for a whole year.
Right.
You know,
The
he's
injuries have kept him off the mound a certain amount.
which is totally fair. But if he did one or the other, he'd be great at that. He'd be a Cy Young pitcher, Hall of Fame pitcher if he just pitched, or a Hall of Fame hitter if he just hit. I mean,
Great
that's
point.
what's amazing to me about Shohei. He's totally special. You know, even though it's all deferred, he's still worth all the money that they pay him. We haven't seen anything like him, man.
No,
He's amazing.
And you don't see people like Brooks Kieschnick anymore that do one and then the other. I mean, Rick Ankiel, remember him?
That's a good one. Yes.
Yeah, that's a great example. Now, Rick Ankiel started as an outfielder and then switched to
It was the other way
as a
around.
pitcher, yeah.
He couldn't
Couldn't
get the
control
ball
it.
over the plate anymore.
Yeah, he couldn't control it. Yeah.
And then they put him in the outfield. But you know, it's crazy. That's a thing of the past. Kind of like guys who play two sports is kind of a thing of the past.
Oh, 100%. And Ankiel had the one moment where in the playoffs where he just couldn't find the zone, right?
Sad.
And it kind of broke him completely as a pitcher. And then
Yeah.
he flipped over, which was impressive to be able to do that. There was a former Brewer prospect, Lucas Urseg, who was a
yes.
second or third round pick at third base, went to a junior college and felt like he was going to be a pretty dang good third baseman, and then kind of never reached past AAA. And then
I think
3
he got
years
called
in,
up. I think,
he might have gotten called up
yeah.
as a third baseman,
a Royal or an A or something like
yeah,
that.
and then decided he's like, well, my career's in flux. I'm only a AAA player. Went to relieving, and now he's one of the better setup and relievers in baseball.
That's what
right
I was thinking of. Yeah, So
That's
he got
awesome.
dealt at the
He's with
deadline
the
and was playing. And he's now with the Royals, got dealt at the deadline a couple of years ago. So he's carved out a nice little spot for him. But you're right. The guys that are able to even do two sports, the demand that they have on these kids doesn't allow you to really flourish as that at all.
Yeah, they don't even do that as kids. You're right anymore
No.
with your travel teams and all that. But I'm trying to think. We've had this conversation before. Was Brian Jordan the last guy that was excelled at both baseball and football during the same season with the Falcons and Cardinals? I
Russell
think.
Wilson tried. I mean, he was a minor league player for
Yeah.
them, but not really.
But Brian Jordan was a starting safety
Yeah.
for Atlanta, and he was a pretty good outfielder for the Cardinals back. I don't know, that had been probably close to 20 years ago. He may have been the last guy to excel at two
Probably.
sports at the same
Kyler
time.
Murray might want to grab the bat and see what he can do.
Drew Henson
top
tried.
10 pick, right?
The
For
only
Oakland?
person to be a top 10 pick in both sports.
Incredible.
And I'm not trying to say the football thing's not working out.
He's making
Signed a
money.
$100 million
Yeah,
contract.
they're making money doing it. But
It's working out pretty well. But, hey, maybe you see if it works out even better, because you could flip that thing around and he could be a new modern day
Yeah, good point.
Bo or something like that.
Yeah.
Dolph, always appreciate it, brother. Great to see you back in
All
here.
right, fellas.
And you look rejuvenated. These 2-day work weeks always make it a little easier, huh?
I could go for this through to the end of my career right now. Just work Thursday and Friday.
you know what? That'd
I
be
gotta
good.
get one of those jobs. My buddy keeps telling me, he's like, dude, we're gonna get one of these gigs. You can make $100,000. You only work 2 days a week. All right, sweet.
Wait,
Great. Whatever.
Tell
you
me
got.
where to send my resume. Tell me
work-
where to send that resume.
You're working for home for a Nigerian prince?
Yeah, he said, he goes, work from home. You work 2 days a week.
Yeah.
5 hours a day, make $100 grand a
You know
year.
what? Some people have found the cheat code in life. I don't think I have.
There's a
Get
small
one of those.
investment
I
on
got
your
a
part.
text
I'm going to
about
need your
that job too, I believe.
Yeah,
it's
pretty interesting.
Yeah, daily.
900 number.
I feel really bad though. Quick, like you prepare all the stuff. Bucks won last night. Like you prepare the headlines. I feel terrible.
Oh no.
Oh,
You
I
know what? I
apologize.
do
It's my
this.
fault. It's my fault.
I just do this is good therapy. It's a good
Yeah.
brain exercise to do this. Yeah. How about Middleton? 3 standing O's last.
Nice to see. I mean, he's going to be a legend. We talked about he should have a statue here. He probably will have the number will be retired. Will he have a
Has to
statue?
be.
I didn't
Hopefully.
realize that Giannis had never played a game without him before they.
That's
was
amazing, isn't
traded.
it? To
Yeah.
think about. That's very rare in this league.
Wow.
It's a wild, wild league, and an incredible testament to those two guys being able to
Yeah.
be together for that long.
Big time.
It's something else.
Big time.
Dolph, we're going to get the headlines tomorrow. I apologize.
No, don't worry about it.
No, it's mostly my
We'll talk
fault.
to you
I
tomorrow.
want to talk more state parks. Tomorrow.
I know.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
We'll
it.
find better ones, and we'll talk more Cooley region tomorrow.
Yeah. See you.
Dolph, brought to you by Screamin' Sicilian Pizza. Scott Dolphin hanging out with us. More BS straight ahead. 1070 the game.
Just give me a kiss.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
Keep on burning. Proud mirror, keep on rolling, rolling, rolling on the river.
In January of 69, Creedence Clearwater Revival has a number 2 hit with Proud Mary. The Beatles perform live for the last time on the rooftop of Apple Records in London. And after touring as the New Yardbirds in September of 68, Jimmy Page renames the band Led Zeppelin and releases their debut, which goes top 10 in both the US and UK.
Good times, bad times, you know I've had my share. When my woman left home for a family man, but I still don't seem to care.
In February of 69, Detroit rockers MC5 released their debut album Kick Out the Jams on Elektra Records. Tommy James and the Shondells have a number 1 hit with the psychedelic-influenced Crimson and Clover. And San Francisco's Sly and the Family Stone go to number 1 with the single Everyday People.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1974.
All the land on the run. Land on the run.
In January of 1974, the top-selling album of the year is released, Paul McCartney and Wings' Band on the Run. Bob Dylan, backed by the band, has his first number 1 album with Planet Waves. In February, Jersey City's Kool and the Gang have a top 5 hit with Jungle Boogie. New York City's Kiss released their debut, which sells 75,000 copies without a hit single.
Everybody says she's looking good. And the lady knows it's understood.
In March of 74, Canadian band Rush released their debut album, get a new drummer, and go on their first U.S. tour. David Essex has the first of many top 10 hits in the UK and his only U.S. hit with the single Rock On, which goes to number 5. And Steely Dan hit the top 5 with the single Ricky Don't Lose That Number and have a top 10 album too with Pretzel Logic.
Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you want. You might use it if you feel better. When you get home.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up.
After a successful home opener in a 5-3 win over Texas, Milwaukee hits the road as they travel to San Jose for the first time since 2017. Into the slot, he'll find Thompson. Left circle, shoots. Save made. Rebound, score. Pre-game on Friday at 8:30. Face-off at 9 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio.
Here are the top Queen songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, We Are the Champions.
No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world.
Number 2, We Will Rock You.
You got mud on your face, big disgrace. Somebody better put your bag into your place. We will rock you. Sing it. We will rock you.
Number 1, Another One Bites the Dust.
Another one bites the dust. And another one gone. And another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey, I'm gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust.
Hear more from Queen and similar artists now. Search for Queen on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Oh, baby, why don't you just meet me in the middle? I'm losing my mind just a little. So why don't you just meet me in the middle? In the middle.
No BS on the game. Billy and Sarian with you. Andrew Ludwig on the other side. And you're on the NicolaLaw.com talking text line 877-794-1973. 262 hit us up there. Said Brett Phillips trying to pitch as well.
That's a guy I thought about.
Yes. Brett Phillips did just announce his retirement from baseball. in a very well done video. He had an impressive MLB life, an impressive baseball life. Not only just kind of forget the 13, 14 years to like build yourself up to being a prospect that gets drafted to Major League Baseball, but let alone to then climb through the minor leagues, get to the majors, had a walk-off hit in the World Series.
Yeah, every kid's dream, man.
Cool, right?
Yeah.
Pretty dang cool. Yeah, pretty dang cool. And like,
I would say so. I would
as
say
a guy that in every organization he was in, his impact was felt. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like wherever he was, people had his name get brought up because he was that energizing and fun.
That entertaining, someone that's gonna, someone that people are gonna remember you fondly because
that's a cool spot to be in.
That's a cool spot to be in. That's a great blessing to have as a pro athlete, obviously ever to make it, right? Or any kind of athlete, but in any walk of life, your time will be fleeting, right? Your time's going to be short. It's a small window of time until you move on to the next thing. So if people remember you fondly,
yeah,
and they feel good feelings about you and the impact you made, that's a blessing because that's what's going to last is the memories people and way you make people feel.
And when your name gets attached to something and will be synonymous with something, that's a pretty sweet spot to be in, no doubt about it. Random Jim said there are rattlesnakes in western to southwestern Wisconsin as well.
That's
There's
what
a lot
I'm
of
saying.
them in here.
You got to watch out there. No, that's you're talking about Cooley region, the Driftless area.
Region into the
Like down to Platteville, down that way
Yeah,
too.
because you got the hills and all that stuff and those
Galena
little caves.
Yeah, okay.
You just
I know Galena's not Wisconsin, but yeah.
Keep your head in a swivel, man. That's all I'm trying to say out there. Keep your head in a swivel out there.
What would you do when you see a
Run?
I don't know.
Run.
And I've thought about
I
that.
don't think that's the right move.
I know, but
isn't
I'm
that
going
what
to
you
take my chances.
So even though running's not the right move, I do think that's an instinct I'm probably going to have to like accept is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing with a bee and a wasp and all these things. You're not supposed to run and freak out. But what do? You run and freak out. I mean, I go in a full sprint. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I know it's not the right thing to do, like intellectually.
Yeah.
But your instinct, it seems counterintuitive for me to do anything but get the hell out of there. All right. That's just the way I look at it. And I know they say it with the bears. If you see a bear, it's brown
Chicago?
bear. What is it? Brown bear.
Oh,
play
they're gonna be scareder of you than you are of them.
I don't believe that.
I call that BS.
Thank you.
If a brown/grizzly bear charges and attacks you, you play dead. I'm not laying around at that point. I want to have agency in my own decision. And if there's a black bear, you're supposed to punch him in the face. I'm not doing that either.
Last thing I'm going to do is try to upset it.
I will be getting out of there the best I can. That's my number one goal. All right. I'm letting you know right
Well,
now.
because you equate it to a wasp or a bee. Now, stupidly,
Yeah.
I try to like hit said bee.
No, I like that. Because you don't run from you don't duck the smoke like I do. I duck the smoke
I'm
from
be
these
ducking all of the smoke from this rattlesnake. Like,
Well,
so
yeah,
I'm
It's
trying.
okay to duck the smoke.
Yeah, like that's the last thing that I'm trying to mess around with. Because as Aaron on the YouTube stream said, just get the snake spray.
Oh yeah.
Hey, but I'm not walking. Here's the problem. Okay, let's get. Is it
That
Aaron?
sounds like an
Aaron.
awesome thing to have.
Great
if I
idea.
had that in reserve.
I don't have snake spray just chilling on my person usually. Now, if I'm hiking and it might be in my backpack, if I know it's like
Yeah, if I'm hiking, maybe I'm going to be a cross shoulder bag guy.
sure. No,
I haven't been that guy yet.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll turn into that then if I'm hiking.
I also do love when a brown bear attacks. Play dead, protect your neck and head, keep your backpack on to provide extra protection. I don't think my backpack's doing it, brother.
Backpack ain't doing much,
I don't think I think if a brown/grizzly bear wants me bad enough, the backpack will not be the problem. It's like if I'm going skydiving and wearing a helmet, I don't think the helmet's saving me if something happens.
Although could be onto something for me because my backpack is going to be quite stacked with snacks.
Well, we want the snacks.
Right. So maybe in that point, hey, sacrifice backpack here.
To go take my hamburger.
Not a
meat.
good gummy
No
bears in
wonder
here.
the bear wants to come say hi.
Yeah.
Well, Arby's steak nuggets in
yeah,
here, right? Like
little
maybe that's
Cinnamon
why
Toast
you're
Crunch.
correct.
You know
So we
what I
got
mean?
Throwing a
marijuana
lot
bear
in
now,
here.
right? If you said gummies, right?
Could have.
I love it. I love it. Luddy just takes it right there. I love that. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I don't know.
No doubt about it.
I don't know those
Oh, like
bears.
I said
Gushers,
gummy bears.
gushers.
I said gummy bears. I was
Gotcha.
thinking like Harbo.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Haribo,
Haribo gummy bear.
Haribo, by the way. Yeah.
Haribo. I was thinking
Yeah.
some Jelly Belly, but Letty goes north of the border, which is fine. We're fine with that one.
Or
It's a Haribo. I don't
And
know how
I
you-
also like that
I don't know how you pronounce it.
Texter also said Luddy's recruiting trips go from trying to recruit a quarterback to then finding a tight end.
Oh, hey, that's a good one.
Or it could be a wide receiver. Brian in Madison, I sat on a rattlesnake when I was 7. I heard the rattle and then ran.
Smart move. Smart move. Now, not to sit on it, but to hear the rattle and run is a smart move. I mean, they always say the rattle is for them to warn you that they're there because they don't want any part of you. I'm glad to know that, but I can't have an intellectual conversation with the snake to come to an agreement that we'll both get out of the same area.
Yeah, I'm not ready to trust the snake.
Well, so I appreciate the fact that they want to get out of there, but I don't know.
There's a language barrier there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Dan
There's no
Buchel?
interpreter in that.
Right.
No.
If it's
Like the
Brown-
big one though.
Sophia, get over here and help us out here. We're trying to.
If it's a brown bear, if Brownie laid down, if it's black, you fight back. Again, I'm not going to be fighting a bear. I will not be doing that in my life.
I'd like to say I'm that guy. I don't believe I am.
It's just a business decision. I mean, I understand they're saying you're supposed to fight back. I can't see myself having a positive outcome from that. I just can't do it. Michael and Appleton, all snakes suck. That's a take. I can't really disagree with
I think
it.
it's a good take.
Now,
too.
some people love snakes. And I don't want to be one of these people that's like, anti-animal, reptile, whatever, because I understand they can be great, interesting, beautiful creatures.
And this is, again, maybe a hot take. I don't think it is. Your snake, meaning you listening, who has a pet snake.
Pet snake.
Oh.
Much different than me encountering snake in a wild.
Right. One of those cool, pretty, like docile ones that
While
don't have-
I know
Yeah.
your snake that potentially is cobra, python, whatever it ends up being, some insert random name here.
Yeah.
Your snake, I feel a little bit more comfortable with because it still hadn't killed you yet.
You killed you. You have a whole thing where you have the relationship with the
Yeah,
snake.
we're friends.
You know the type
You
that's not going to bite.
understand.
No
I walk in
venom.
with you. We're going to be cool. That's a different
Yeah.
story to me than encountering one in the wild.
Part of your feature show on Saturday night.
Yeah, I'm
stuff.
down with that.
Right.
I don't want anybody taking your snake.
But when you were at the zoo as a kid, or you go to the zoo now with young
Absolutely,
Carson,
yeah,
You know
great
they
time.
have like the petting area, and they the zoologist they'll bring. Hey, who wants to hold the snake? I wasn't that kid.
I never was going to be that
I'd
kid.
love to watch.
I don't like reptiles.
I'd love to watch you do it. And behind the glass, I like looking at them. They're pretty.
Cool to see,
The,
yes.
the tree snakes, the green ones, and they flop over the branch. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. But I'm not going to be the one. I'll even watch YouTube videos of snakes. I'm not the one that wants to actually encounter them in the wild.
It's smart to at least just know your limitations.
Yes, I think that's a great thing. Jacob and Superior. All right, still up there, by the way. Listen,
It's a good
to
one.
us.
Come
I
on now,
appreciate that.
Jacob.
My brother and I were like 10 out in Oregon. We walked up to a rattlesnake and beat it dead with a stick. We didn't know they could strike double their body length. That's another thing. I'm not doing that either. I'm going to defend
Jeez, let's
myself.
go, Jacob.
I hope you didn't do that for fun, just for fun, Jacob. I hope you were actually trying to defend yourself. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, like animal torture, right?
I would. That's not a good thing to do.
No,
Dan
don't-
says you
don't
don't physically
leave 'em
fight back black bears. They can be intimidated by making yourself look as big as possible, making loud noises. Okay, now that's interesting. That's different than them saying fight back. That trying to pretend fight is what you're talking about. They're not really clarifying what they mean by
Am I
that.
fighting back with like a knife or a gun or anything fun like that,
Are
or
you
is it just
supposed
like
to-
bare
I
hand?
think
'Cause
it's
that's
supposed to just be
two
these
totally
two
different
fists.
things.
You're
Yeah.
supposed to fake it, like that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's gonna not work
You know,
in the end.
Yeah, I'm going to be
I agree.
skeptical if that's going to play out.
I'm just taking option 3 and getting out of there.
And the problem is we rarely are able to go back in time and see, hey, so you did just yell at bear, throw your arms up
Right.
and scream. And that worked, right? That post-game interview rarely happens. That one doesn't
That's a
happen
great
a whole
point.
lot with the towel over the head.
Matt,
Which I would like to have more of those.
NickLayLaw.com talking text line. Matt, look up the story where a college wrestler caught a bear. I'm assuming he meant fought a bear to save his friend. That's the best friend you could ever have. If he's
Yeah,
willing to do
amen.
that. But college wrestlers, Billy, are different. They're different. They have a different level
wrestlers are
of toughness.
stranger.
They're
And
wired
the-
kind of like hockey players.
The bear might also see the potential like years from prior to cauliflower ear that most wrestlers end up having.
Sure.
And be like, you know what?
This guy's a real one.
I'm actually not going to mess with him.
Yeah.
His nonverbal communication is
Yeah,
gone.
he's
Hey,
like-
you know what, man? You win.
Wrestler just turns to the side.
Well, these
Oh.
MMA guys.
Yeah. You know what? Hey, we're good. We're good. Right over there. Good fish. Get down there and grab yourself
I'm
one.
gonna go for the salmon today.
I can catch you one if you want. I'll throw you one. We'll be all good.
Man,
we'll be friends.
We're about this close to getting back to the conversation about fighting a silverback.
I think
gorilla.
I've seen a Jack Link's
Getting close.
commercial
Yeah.
similar to
Well,
this.
and Red Hot Tim Knott did say, no, Luddy, we've already had Weed Bear. Have you ever seen Yogi? I also was going to say we
No.
had Cocaine Bear.
Well,
Now,
yeah,
that was the movie that came out last
Right,
year.
Right.
Stunned to know that I think flopped in the studios. Let's write that down.
Matt Miller questions for
Movie
later.
question for Matt Miller. Matt's going to be proud of us.
Let's get the doc.
He's going to be a little disappointed that the only movie question we ask him is about Cocaine Bear.
None of those
But
are
not
my
shocked.
None of those are on my
But
notes.
not shocked. You're
notes
exactly
today.
right, Letty.
I try to make myself notes to remind myself of things. None of that was on there today. But I do have. I mean, I got some other stuff. Middleton.
Generally how it
But
rolls.
that wasn't it. So
877-794-1973. Matt LePay is an hour away. We'll talk some Badgers football with him as well. On the other side, I hear from the two quarterbacks taking center stage Sunday night. Aaron Rodgers has no ill feelings, no animosity. Jordan Love, hard to have a bad word to say about his experience with quarterback, now number 8, formerly number 12 in Green Bay. Packers and Steelers. You're going to hear it on 95.7 Big FM. Armin's going to be playing all of the audio. I'm going to be talking to you post game, and we're going to be talking to you on the other side as hour 2 kicks off next on the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
In January of 69, Creedence Clearwater Revival has a number 2 hit with Proud Mary. The Beatles performed live for the last time on the rooftop of Apple Records in London. And after touring as the New Yardbirds in September of 68, Jimmy Page renames the band Led Zeppelin and releases their debut, which goes top 10 in both the US and UK.
Good times, bad times, I've had my share. When my woman left home for a blind man, but I still don't seem to care.
In February of 69, Detroit rockers MC5 released their debut album Kick Out the Jams on Elektra Records. Tommy James and the Shondells have a number 1 hit with the psychedelic-influenced Crimson and Clover. And San Francisco's Sly and the Family Stone go to number 1 with the single Everyday People.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1975.
In June of 75, the Bee Gees released the LP Main Course, featuring a more dance-oriented sound, and delivered 3 hit singles, including the number 1 Jive Talkin'. In July, Fleetwood Mac shake things up. They add Americans Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks to the lineup and have a number 1 album. And Wings released the album Venus and Mars, which goes to number 1. Their U.S. tour features Paul McCartney's first live appearance in the U.S. since 1966.
I love is fine for all we know. For all we know, our love will grow. That's what the man said. So won't you listen to what the man said? He said.
In August of 75, the Eagles' 4th album goes to number 1 and has 3 top 5 singles, including the number 1 title track, One of These Nights. And the boss, Bruce Springsteen, is featured on the cover of Time magazine, and Born to Run becomes his breakthrough album, reaching number 3 in the U.S.
Come on with the chance like us. Baby, we were born to run.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975. Coming up.
After a successful home opener in a 5-3 win over Texas, Milwaukee hits the road as they travel to San Jose for the first time since 2017. Into the slot, he'll find Thompson. Left circle, shoots, save made, rebound, score! Pre-game on Friday at 8:30, face-off at 9 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1974.
For the land on the run. Land on the run.
In January of 1974, the top-selling album of the year is released, Paul McCartney and Wings' Band on the Run. Bob Dylan, backed by the band, has his first number 1 album with Planet Waves. In February, Jersey City's Kool and the Gang have a top 5 hit with Jungle Boogie. New York City's Kiss released their debut, which sells 75,000 copies without a hit single.
Everybody says she's stuck in the club. And the lady knows it's understood.
In March of 74, Canadian band Rush released their debut album, get a new drummer, and go on their first U.S. tour. David Essex has the first of many top 10 hits in the UK and his only U.S. hit with the single Rock On, which goes to number 5. And Steely Dan hit the top 5 with the single Ricky Don't Lose That Number and have a top 10 album too with Pretzel Logic.
Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you want. You might use it if you feel better. When you get home.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up.
Here are the top Queen songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, We Are the Champions. Number 2, We Will Rock You.
You got mud on your face, big disgrace. Somebody better put your bag into your place. We will rock you. Sing it. We will rock you.
Number 1, Another One Bites the Dust.
Another one bites the dust, and another one gone, and another one gone, another one bites the dust. Hey, I'm gonna get you through. Another one bites the dust.
Hear more from Queen and similar artists now. Search for Queen on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Don't forget this fight. Can't get back, okay.
Hour 2, No BS Morning Show on the game. That's Armin Sari, and I'm Billy Schmidt. Andrew Ludwig on the other side, spinning the hot stacks
of wax from the back.
Way in the back. We are
Pumping
fired up
wattage
here.
in your cottage.
There's going to be cottages getting a lot of wattage this evening, and maybe this weekend. Good weekend to be potentially closing up the cottage if you didn't last weekend, because it quickly went from summer to potentially the late stages of fall. Dropped off my snowbirding parents at the airport this morning.
Oh, are they doing that now?
Oh,
I think I knew they were thinking
year
about
number 2 of the snowbird life down to Fort Myers, Florida.
Nice. Congrats,
For my folks.
Mr. and Mrs. Schmidt.
They're very excited, very happy. However, they're just like, hey, just so you know, if anything, if you need us to babysit,
We'll come right back.
We'll be
We'll
right
be
back.
on the first bird back. That's
Awesome.
That
Sounds good.
That's a blessing you can't replace, man. That's
it's
a
the
blessing.
best, especially. But I do like how the built-in caveat is: need babysitting, let us know.
Right.
Not
Do you need
anything
us?
goes wrong.
No.
Any emergency? Hey, you want us to watch those little guys?
Be there for
Let
our
us know.
grandkids, not you.
Give us a call. All right, let us know. Just shoot me a text if anything goes wrong. The good
Yeah.
stuff to be able to do, but
Great stuff.
it's the right time because it quickly got a little chillier. Your boys' new morning routine has found us during this hour split or into hour number 2. Go out, check out a little bit of the sunrise. A little gloomy on this Thursday. We got to wake it up and be a little bit more brighter for the folks across the state of Wisconsin here, Armin, as we get into a phenomenal football weekend in the state. Wish Saturday night had a little bit more juice. Feels like it's more of a have to than a get to feeling for Saturday night's Badgers football game. We're going to talk a lot more about it coming up with Matt LePay in 1 hour from right now. You go out to Autzen Stadium to Eugene, Oregon, one of the great scenes in college football.
Beautiful, yeah.
And instead it's like no,
it's tough. It's a tough.
This is okay.
It's a tough slog right now for Badger football. They're not in a place anyone wants to be, and you don't want to be, like you said, Billy. I don't want to say dreading, but maybe not looking forward to opportunities the same way you once would. But the reality is, this is where they are right now. Now, the one thing you can say is there's a lot of room for improvement, Billy.
A lot of room for improvement.
A lot of ways to find
chances to get better.
A lot of chances to find positives in the next game you're going to play when the last one goes so bad. where you say, well, the next one has a lot of chance to go better.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Because you're starting at that place. So there's a lot of soul searching and questions that are surrounding the program right now. And then we're going to talk to Matt about all of them. But obviously not a place you want to be, but you still want to appreciate the opportunity, not to sound too much like Coach Christ.
Really good Paul Christ right there, though.
Of being able to go, put the uniform on, go to these places, represent the best you can, and see if you can find something. If you can discover something positive, discover something to build on, discover some guys that are playing well, and that's the goal. Joe Gibbs always used to say, we watch tape in these situations to see which players are playing hard, which players are playing their best in moments that look bleak.
It's an important thing. It really is, especially in the ever-changing climate of college sports, where your job is somewhat open and on the line and available to a new spot every single year. It is important to put the right stuff on tape, no doubt about it. I didn't realize, honestly, the ESPN prediction matchup predictor could go as low as 2.8%.
Oh no. Is that what it is at?
2.8%.
That's the time, when I look
It's
at
like
that.
Big Sky versus Pac-12.
That's I was
back
just
in the
gonna
day.
say. I look at those things during the college basketball season when Marquette's playing like
Norfolk State.
McNeese or Savannah. Or
Although I
Norfolk.
gotta contend, I don't know that that's exactly what 2.8% of the full circle would look like. I think they're giving
the visual pie.
I think they're giving the Badgers a little slighter, bigger part of the visual pie, but that's disrespectful.
That's like the
The bettors are liking Wisconsin. It opened at 34.5. Down to 32.5.
That is such a big chunk of points, Billy, and such a redwood of wood for a Big Ten game.
They're going out into the forest in Eugene,
are,
and one that just
literally
went coast to coast and plowed down a lot of wood, no pause. They just beat the absolute out of Rutgers.
Breaks, man.
56-10. It was 42-3 at the end of the first half.
Yeah, so
and they just kind of called off the dogs. They're an absolute wagon and one that's upset after losing a game. So a tough one to be able to go into. Hopefully it gets better, and we'll talk a lot more about it coming up with Matt LePay. Saturday night is got a little bit of a have to feel. Sunday, big time get to.
Yeah.
This is a great game to get to be able to see, get to enjoy. Aaron Rodgers taking on the Green Bay Packers, most likely only time ever. Even though, interesting enough, the NFL insiders stories are starting to hint towards the Steelers like, hey, Aaron, you sure this is your last year? You sure this is your last year? He said he's pretty sure it's his last year.
Oh.
He also, what was that?
We've heard this before, haven't we?
Yeah,
somewhat, but we
spent a lot of time with the
he
Packers
never did the Brett
organization,
where he never did the Brett where he visibly wavered so much and then said yes for sure, then came back. However, we have heard him question his future. I mean, but listen, when you're asked that much the question, you're going to have answers. And when you have answers, people are going to say that, take that as you talking about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really know if that's totally fair. But yeah, I mean, he's totally done this. He never said for sure to be his last year. It just seemed like all directions were pointing in that direction.
No,
right?
he just intimated it when he was asked about it on the McAfee show. He was asked by one of the guys on the show if this was going to be his last year.
Right.
And this is going to be a one and done situation. He said it really feels that way, and then went on to a lengthy answer. And I don't want to paraphrase and misquote because there's obviously chances to be able to do that when Aaron Rodgers is talking.
Of course.
It would make sense that this is his one try at greatness with Pittsburgh. He talked about wanting to be able to ride off into the sunset with the Packers, potentially. Could be with the team that he beat to win his only Super Bowl title. However, he goes into this weekend with absolute no animosity towards the Green Bay Packers.
Toward the organization. Obviously, I wish that, things have been better in our last year there, but, I have a great relationship with a lot of people still in that organization. And this is not a revenge game for me. I'm just excited to see some of those guys and be on Sunday Night Football again.
Have your feelings toward the organization evolved the longer you've been away from them, that not feeling animosity? Is that something you kind of had to work to feel, work to get to this point?
We're always working on ourselves and trying to be better than we were.
I like that.
We are.
Previous day, previous month, previous year. But absence makes the heart grow fonder, maybe. I have a lot of great memories from my time there. A lot of great interactions with fans over the years. living in Green Bay, living in Swamico, living in Hobart, going to Chives, being out and about, seeing people at the Piggly Wigglies when I'm shopping for groceries. I grew up there. I spent 18 years there, from 21 to 39. So I'm thankful for my time there. Obviously, would have loved to ride off in the sunset after a Super Bowl win, but that's not the way the league goes sometimes. And, I knew the writing was on the wall when Jordan was picked. And as a matter of time, I happened to win MVP the first 2 years he was with us. But I knew at some point there would be a change, and if I wanted to play, it'd probably have to be elsewhere. So I understand the situation.
And he's right. Like, that was just the situation at hand. And I think that for most Packers fans, Armin, it's the same sentiment.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know that if there are still some that are angry about his maybe what they perceived as lack of dedication to the team, lack of commitment to the organization, or want to give a rip meter was always a question, I think, for some individuals. But I wonder, after listening to that, how many years he was satisfied with being done. Because they were so close. Yeah. Right? 2020, I think they're the best team in football.
Yeah.
David Bakhtiari, who's talking this week about it, about the game this weekend with Aaron taking on the Packers again. First time we get to hear from Dave. Love hearing Dave.
Yeah.
Because in 2020, when he goes to the Zoom call after the game and gets kind of emotional with one of the responses and says, I don't know, a lot of futures are up in the air.
Yeah.
Mine included. Then I believe it's Jason Wilde, asks him, hey, hold on, brother. What do you mean yours included? He goes, well, I don't know. I just cry with my teammates and think there's a lot of questions that are up in the air. I wonder if they would have gotten all the way home in 2020 if he would have rode off into the sunset.
Yeah, it's an interesting question.
I think in 2021, it was pretty clear because of the Last Dance conversation. That one, it became a lot more, it was a lot louder. Him and Devontae were being pretty public, the fact that they knew both of them were probably potentially going to be done. He thought he was maybe his last time in Green Bay.
Yeah.
If they would have won in 21, again, number 1 overall seed, again, MVP, I think he definitely does. So that now goes on like the last 4 or 5 years. He keeps playing, keeps hanging on. And I wonder if you would have seen any of this had they achieved their ultimate goal in either of those 2 years in Green Bay.
It's an interesting question. It's a good one to ponder. Our world was so different back then, too. There was more uncertainty with the start of COVID. A lot of people didn't know what was going to happen, how much football there would be in the near future. I think the idea of riding off into the sunset, and in theory, that's with a championship, right, has always been a romantic notion. But I always think of one that it's counterintuitive, because then in theory, you're playing the top of your game, and almost no player, Billy, ever in this game wants to leave if they have something in the tank, right? It's a very rare thing. Most guys try to play as long as they can. So he might have done it. Then again, he might have wanted to repeat. He might have said, I just have too much left in the tank. I can't bear leaving. I think Brett went through that for a long time. Thought that maybe there was leaving made a lot of sense at the time. And then every time he thought about it, he just couldn't bear to. It's a tough thing to say to yourself, I'm choosing to never play this game again. That's defined me. That's been my entire identity. That's been my entire life. That's brought me so much joy and fulfillment that I've been one of the best in the world at. It's got to be impossibly hard to try and choose to leave that game, not have someone else choose it for you.
Yeah.
Because you'll never get a chance to play it again. I know I saw an interview with Steve Young, or maybe it was on one of his documentaries, where Steve Young chose to retire when he did, and he could have played more years with Tampa, I think, and has always regretted that. He said, you know what? I got in the notion of retiring a Niner, but looking back, you try and squeeze as much as you can out of the orange while you can. It's a difficult thing, Billy, especially if you're playing well, because I think part of you says, well, why should I stop doing this thing that I love if I'm playing well?
Yeah, but then I think there's also another side to it. And when you reach a certain level of greatness, there's a level of expectation when you take the field or you're in the arena that you perform to a certain standard, right? And the thought of going out like a bum, I think Rodgers has said it that way a couple of different times, like that would be the worst case scenario. And he's far from doing that. Like even last year, if last year would have been his last year.
Going out with the injury, right. Didn't want that to be the last chapter. So he's played
last
really
year.
well.
He played good football at the end of the year. Granted, I think they were 5-12.
Yeah, but he
hard to
played
say
well.
you didn't go out like a bum when your team was 5-12, and that's what people are going to point to. So I wasn't surprised that he wanted to come back this year. I think this year was a product of last year, and last year was a product most likely of blowing out his Achilles on the 4th play as a Jet. So like he's been trying to grab this last moment a number of different ways. I hope it happens. I hope he reaches that level of satisfaction. He's got a good football team this year.
Good team, and
Not
he's
a
playing
great-
well.
Not a great team, but a good football team. And I don't know that there's a great team outside of maybe Kansas City, but they're not great yet. They're in the AFC, so I think everything's up on the table.
Yeah,
for
but
them.
obviously a good chance to win the division. I mean, I think we would all agree for him.
Into that.
He's going to be a playoff quarterback if all things, unless something horrible happens over there or to him. So there's no question there. And listen, you heard that. I don't know if I don't know if the Associated Press Corps there was trying to pull something more controversial out of him, trying to bait him into something else. But in my opinion, he answered that question graciously and honestly. I think he's truly at peace with the situation in Green Bay. I love shouting out Swamico and Hobart. Good stuff. So nice to hear Aaron so gracious there. And I expect him to play well.
And another one that you're not going to hear anything bad about is Jordan Love saying anything from Aaron Rodgers. Anything negative about Aaron Rodgers, because he was so good to him through all of his 3 years.
Yeah, no, Aaron was great. I think anytime just being in the quarterback room, you want to have a great relationship with everybody in the room. I think just to, make it a fun environment for what you're going to be in every day. So, I think coming into it, obviously I never knew what to expect, but, I think Aaron was great to me all 3 years. And I think really everybody that was in that quarterback room with us in my time, it's been great. We've got no issues. It's been just a great room to be a part of.
Shout out Kurt Bankert.
I love
into
that.
when you're thinking of the different quarterback rooms that he's been in there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a more harmonious working environment. Clearly, it wasn't the culture was better than the one we know now because of Gunslinger, because of the book that Favre created with Craig Nall for Aaron Rodgers. So, people feel the way they want about Favre and Rodgers, and we've talked about that ad nauseum. It's going to be one of the things people will always talk about around here. But one thing I always appreciated about Aaron was the way he handled the situation compared to the way Brett handled the situation. And I can't sit there and blame Brett for not feeling the way he did, because it's understandable. But Aaron never took it out on Jordan. He wanted the best for him, it seemed like, from all reports, helped him, cheered for him, supported him. And I would have to think that it has a big a portion of contribution to the player Jordan is today. Now Aaron became a great player kind of despite the way he was treated by Favre, I think. But Jordan's taken the support and the culture in a positive way and become a really good NFL quarterback, as we know. So I've always appreciated that part of Aaron, handling it the right way, as opposed to what he saw his predecessor do to him.
And Aaron was a great teammate even when Brett wasn't a great teammate to him. Maybe in 2007, Brett throws that walk-off to Greg Jennings in Denver. That's like week 7 or 8 of the season.
Overtime.
You see Brett celebrating on the field. You see Aaron Rodgers chasing after Brett. Like, you could tell Aaron was bought in. Like,
sure,
yeah, it ain't my job yet, but I'm gonna be here and I'm gonna be supportive in these moments.
Yeah, and one other person that had only great things to say about Rodgers yesterday was Keyshawn Nixon at his locker, and this might have been the walk-off or the soundbite of the day from Packers availability yesterday.
I actually, if everybody know, I did not want to come here. I hated it here when I first got here, and I used to just be kind of miserable, just wasn't comfortable, just trying to get to know guys and stuff like that. And Aaron used to always just be like, "Why you so mad and angry?" And it made me give him a hug, and it was like a thing. But our relationship grew over time, and we still talk and communicate and stuff like that. But I appreciate him always.
Have you sent him anything this week yet?
No, I'm not talking to him right now.
Okay.
Good. Keyshawn Nixon as
pretty amazing though.
That might be my favorite, as somebody that just bluntly says it. I hated it here when I first got here. That guy made me have to be happy at work, and it goes to this day a great relationship, except for this week.
Well, Aaron always said he's a relationship person, and people have questioned that. And then it is what it is. That's fair, I guess, sometimes. But when you hear a story like that, I mean, not a lot of people go out of their way to find someone that they think there's pain in their heart and ask them why it's happening and try and help them find joy. That's a pretty cool thing. And I'm sure that's something Keyshawn Nixon, now he said it right there, will always appreciate and will never take for granted, because it made him a happier player, probably a better player because of that, and now obviously a more lucrative player because of that.
Definitely more lucrative, definitely better because I don't know that he was going to have as many opportunities as he got right here. Like this one from the YouTube chat, our friend Dan said Rodgers will beat Love in the stats, but Green Bay will win the game Sunday.
We're all signing up for that. I think we're all signing up for that right now. So
I'll take it. Yep. I'll take it as long as the W is in the Green Bay win column. That will be that'll be a satisfactory result for us here on No BS. That's Armin Sari, and I'm Billy Schmidt. Back to the Packers conversation. On the other side, we'll get into some Badgers football when Matt LePay joins us in 40 minutes from right now. It's No BS on the game.
After a successful home opener in a 5-3 win over Texas, Milwaukee hits the road as they travel to San Jose for the first time since 2017. Into the slot, he'll find Thompson. Left circle, shoots, save made, rebound, score! Pre-game on Friday at 8:30, face-off at 9 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1970.
Don't keep me waiting here. Lead me to
The Beatles released the Phil Spector-produced album Let It Be. It generates 3 number 1 hits, Get Back, Let It Be, and their final number 1, The Long and Winding Road. The Kinks song Lola, about a romantic encounter with a transvestite, makes number 2 UK and number 9 US. In July, the Stooges released their second album on Elektra Records, Fun House, and British band Mungo Jerry are number 1 in the UK, number 3 in the US with the single In the Summertime.
have a drink, have a drive, go out and see what you can find.
In August, Eric Clapton releases his first solo album and scores a top 20 hit with his cover of J.J. Cale's After Midnight. Neil Diamond scores his first number 1 with Cracklin' Rosie. September of 1970, Neil Young has a top 10 album with After the Gold Rush. War, an anti-war protest song by Edwin Starr, tops the charts.
What is it good for? You tell me. Say it.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1970. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1973.
In November of 73, Billy Joel's second album yields a minor hit with Piano Man, which goes to number 25.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you got us feeling all right.
Ringo Starr continues his solo success with the number 2 album and 3 top 10 hits, including 2 number 1s, Photograph and You're 16. Meanwhile, John Lennon releases his 4th solo album, Mind Games, which goes to number 9 in the U.S. And in December, the single Taking Care of Business drives the second album by Canadian rock band Bachman Turner Overdrive to number 4. Emerson, Lake and Palmer released their 4th album, Brain Salad Surgery, which goes to number 11. And after passing away in a plane crash in September, Jim Croce has a posthumous number 1 with Time in a Bottle.
Looked around enough to know you're the one I want to go through time.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1972.
He was singing bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove a Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And good old boys drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die.
1972, Don McLean goes to number 1 with the single and album American Pie. Paul Simon's solo debut gives him a top 10 hit, Mother and Child Reunion. Fast forward to March, where Neil Young has a number 1 album and a number 1 single with Heart of Gold. And Deep Purple released their quintessential album Machine Head, which goes to number 1 in the UK, number 7 in the US, and features the classic hit Smoke on the Water. Also in March, the band America releases their debut album. It goes to #1 and yields a #1 single with Horse with No Name.
See, I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1972. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Carlos Santana to discuss how collaborating with Neil Sean and Greg Rowley came to be once again.
Neil's vision. Neil Sean had this vision to reunite us again and rekindle that vision. He's the one that had the thirst to ignite everything, and I'm glad he did. Because he stayed on me for about almost a year, and I was busy with Santana. He was busy with Journey, and Greg is busy with Ringo. He's playing in Ringo Starr's band. But we finally got together, and it's such a joy. We all thank Neil for having the pursuance to do it.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Santana and all your favorite artists.
Nostalgia into the veins with Round Ball Rock back onto your television with NBC being back on the broadcast. We didn't talk as much about it.
No.
I thought it was good. I love the production value of it.
The production's great. It feels like someone described it to me this way. It feels more legit, professional.
As
more
bad
of
as it sounds, it just feels big time.
Big time. Yeah. And part of that is the way we've always felt about NBC, NBA and NBC. Even if we saw it or didn't see it, like there are generations that didn't grow up with it like I did, but have been hearing about it from people like me.
Yes.
Elder millennials and Gen X. That
you won't let us forget about it.
Won't let us forget about it, right. Which always said like, this was like the gold standard. This is a really weird reference, but someone is like, it's like the difference between Steve Urkel and Stefan Urkel. When it was like more dressed up, more professional, more suave, more sophisticated.
100%.
But it's just awesome. Now, obviously, all the faces have changed. It's Tirico, not Bob Costas or Marv Albert, Maria Taylor, all that stuff, and we have that. But it is pretty cool to feel that energy again and feel the nostalgia of the lasers, the peacock, the production value. Jim Fagan's voice. He was the voiceover guy that they're using AI for, I believe.
The AI big voice guy is big. Round Ball Rock is imperative to it.
Obviously, yeah.
But I did just think again, and I want to see it in a bunch of different stadiums. It's just the super, super nerd part of me.
Mm-hmm.
The picture quality was phenomenal.
They do something about the picture
there's something
quality.
about NBC picture quality. I think Sunday Night Football is always one of the best shot, visually appealing broadcasts on Sunday football. It's why NBC generally only does big events, and whenever a game is on NBC, it does feel big. Mm-hmm. However you feel about Notre Dame football, right? All due respect, it's not Mississippi State, right? Like they do big games, they do big events, and it does feel big. It feels good to have that. And I enjoyed that on Tuesday. Enjoyed Inside the NBA being back last night on ESPN. Way to not ESPN it so far. Way to not mess it up. We have Charles Barkley busting his glasses.
I love that.
That was good.
Yeah. The Charles, the Inside the NBA we all know and love was still there, right? Making fun of Charles, joking him with the graphics. Everyone's making fun of him for sucking up.
I was going to say, we even had Charles Barkley sucking up and kissing butt to his new bosses already at ESPN. Hold on here.
We're getting it figured out.
We're getting it figured out as your boy is finding out a new toy in the building.
No, it's great. It's great.
And now he has it dialed in. Maybe. Potentially. Now it's
and Shaq and Kenny can say the same thing. Every person who's ever touched the ball wanted to be on ESPN. They are the greatest sports network ever. And to be working for these guys is an honor and a privilege. It is.
Oh my God!
Oh, you didn't when you was in high school. When you were in high school and in college, you didn't want to be on ESPN. I'm asking you a question.
I'm saying you want.
I'm asking you a question. When you were playing in New York, didn't you want to be on ESPN?
I will answer that question.
Yes.
But do you want a napkin for all that kissing up?
Hey, listen.
Man, we here, man. You just badgered them for every day.
Look at the Thursday schedule. No.
Starting at 3:01 from New York.
It's just great to be able to get the immediate stuff in. We can laugh with Charles. We can get right up to the cusp of what you can say and what you probably shouldn't say. And they're still talking directly to guys. We had DeAndre Ayton catching a couple of direct shots from Shaq.
Yeah,
that
was good.
Their uncut analysis. Not only were they roasting Charles there late into the night, they were sauteing Shaq as saying, how on earth are you defending Victor Wembanyama? Who, oh, by the way, Department of
40 burger.
40, 15, and no turnovers.
Oof. No, he's a player. There's no doubt about it. He's not just the hype.
That was insane.
It was really important, and I don't know if it was intentional or not. It's really important for them to kick off the Inside the NBA, the new iteration of it on ESPN, with that type of thing, with that type of banter, to let everybody know that this is still the old Inside the NBA you've always known and loved. The same type of personalities, which is important. This is still a personality-driven business, and the same type of unfiltered opinions that they've always had.
They had to be themselves.
Yeah.
They had to get going. Okay, so now you saw my reaction here.
I saw something.
There was a story that we're hitting here, some breaking news that just got an entirely new bombshell layer to it of the breaking news department on No BS here today.
Don't have it.
We don't have it. That's fine.
It's
Okay.
all right. It's a breaking news
Check
sound.
this
.gif. Yeah.
So within the last 40 minutes, Shams Charania has put out that Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier was arrested early Thursday morning
as a
part of an FBI federal sports betting probe.
He thought he was off the hook.
The
He caught the case. Yeah.
Eastern District of New York and FBI Director Kash Patel, sweet name, Kash with a K, will hold a press conference at 9 a.m. to announce arrests from the investigation.
Wow.
Key word in there, Armin, arrests.
Plural. We learned that in school.
Because there's another one coming in as Portland Trailblazers.
Oh, boy.
Head coach Chauncey Billups has been arrested by the FBI for alleged illegal gambling. Sources tell ESPN.
What are you guys doing? What are you doing, Chauncey? Oh my goodness, not a smart move.
So
smart move.
I was coming in ready
Holy
to
cow.
ask the question of how does Malik Beasley feel this morning? Because Terry Rozier had been, at least outwardly, it had been public knowledge that he was being investigated, that there was that he was linked to an investigation. And then about 4 months ago, it had sounded all clear.
Yeah,
all good here.
All good. Nothing really happened.
Which
Oh my
might
God,
actually,
really.
which you could have thought was almost more disrespectful. Like,
Well, sure,
we thought
because-
you were point shaving. No, you're just bad.
You just stink. Any player that's now bad in this league has to convince people he's truly bad.
And
And
I'm just struggling. I'm
Like-
not point shaving.
No, trust me. I'm still Kyle Kuzma. I still can't play. Stuff like that.
Arrests.
Oh boy.
Plural.
Wow.
So
I
this
got
is-
it, guys. Here we
So
go.
this has
Sorry.
got levels to it potentially, with more coming through.
Man,
there we
This
go.
is
Yeah.
breaking news.
That's fine.
Big news.
I'm 2.5 minutes
From
late.
This is
Orthopedic
really
Associates
big.
of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Chauncey caught the case. Chauncey Billups. I can't believe this. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised anymore because this is the thing that's been catching people in every sport. But man, I mean, you really are playing with fire doing that when you're a coach in the NBA. This is a guy that made a lot of money playing too, Billy. This isn't like John Tate. This isn't like a guy that's a fringe player. I mean, this, right? I'm just kind of shocked right here reading this.
Floored,
Oh,
no
my
doubt about
goodness.
it. And I want to make sure that I have this accurate as the amount of coaches that have gone down with this. But he becomes one of only like 2 or 3 names that comes to your mind.
Sure.
Brad Bohannon, the ex-Alabama baseball coach.
Right. He made that, but he was an idiot
But
about
he
it.
was knowingly providing inside information to a gambler that bet against his team. I don't believe he was actually betting on the games.
Yeah, and
this sounds like Chauncey Billups is actually betting on games by
goodness.
the wording of the Shams tweet. Right
And I don't want to be a pocket watcher guy. I understand it's different, but you're talking about, okay, the Alabama baseball coach is one thing. You're talking about a guy, Chauncey, that made $107 million playing. Now he's making also money head coaching in the NBA. So you've been
Coaching
drawing
in the
a
NBA.
great
Yeah, right.
salary for a long time, making a lot of money, and you're choosing to take a chance like this, man. I mean, wow. I'm floored. I'm floored by this. And who else is out there, Billy?
That's the great
Who
question
else is
as
out
to
there?
Where else does this go? I mean, a head coach just got pinched in the league. Like,
and
anybody could be up for it.
This
right.
I hate to be this guy, but now, okay, Scary Terry. Can we get somehow? Can we vacate Game 7 in 2018?
Thank you.
Can we do something like that? Can we
Let's
vacate?
do a replay.
Can we replay that whole
Replay the
game?
game, yeah.
Should have beat the Celtics, but he went crazy that game. And Eric Bledsoe still doesn't know who he is. And I don't know. Eric Bledsoe has got his own. Now,
Eric Bledsoe's gonna be wearing a Drew Bledsoe jersey wherever he's at right now.
He's got the same.
Terry
situation.
walked in with the Drew Bledsoe jersey into TD Garden Game 7.
Right.
I did love that.
There's a lot
that
of
Patriots
things-
blue back in the day. That was beautiful.
Oh, for sure. There's a lot of things you want to associate with your name as a pro athlete. The last thing you want to associate with your name is Eastern District of New York and FBI Director Kash Patel. holding a
Yeah,
press conference.
that just sounds bad.
You're messing with some wild stuff when you're doing that. It's one thing to,
Adam Silver was on
Get
the
fired, but-
McAfee show a couple of days ago to kick off the season on Tuesday, and they were discussing some of the different levels of sports betting and the accessibility to it. And one thing that Adam Silver said, with a little bit of a grin on his face, with the geofencing and the ability of sports wagering apps, we know exactly where in your house you're placing this
And
bet.
they're not going to mess. Adam Silver will not mess around with stuff like this. We've heard it many times. We talk about it with our friend Justin Arnett at Potawatomi Sportsbook. Integrity of the leagues and integrity of the books they're both important to each other.
The absolute number one thing.
Yeah.
He also did, though, go into double down is the wrong way of putting it, but he expounded upon his views on legalized sports gambling. He's like, while it's something that's never going away at this particular point, right? Like it is so ingrained now.
But the toothpaste is out of the tube at this point.
Way too much. Never going back. People are watching it and just have now been consuming it way too often. And he also mentioned that, like, in Europe, you'd go to games and there would actually be a betting window. So he's like, it's not that crazy.
Yeah.
However, the sheer volume of different bets you can take, he's like, I think we could calm down on some of the player rebounding numbers, right? And he was trying to say, like, there's certain niche numbers and bets that
make you more susceptible.
Books take,
that
could make it a little easier. And he's like, I think we could just take all of the temptation away with some of the stuff. And I wonder if you would see if this is bigger than two names. Shams might know more. He's probably just waiting for people to tell him.
Yeah, it's probably true.
But when
we'll know more,
This
at
might
this
be
presser.
the most wrapped up story he's ever going to unfold.
and yes, you're correct. And he will know when he needs to know.
Yeah.
And then
We're
we
being
will all
honest.
get to know. But currently, right now, it stands at 2. And I hope it's done here. Just I don't know that it is. 877-794-1973
I don't know, Billy,
to catch
this
you up one more time. Terry Rozier arrested early Thursday morning, part of an FBI sports betting gambling probe that now also includes Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups, arrested by the FBI for alleged illegal gambling.
Poor Dan was looking for a more peaceful situation.
This is the same league
I
that's
mean,
got
it's-
no-show jobs going on as another headline right now. So, like, wow. Nothing would surprise me, unfortunately.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, this does make Kawhi Leonard's $7 million for the aspiration no-show job look a little lighter.
Well, he didn't show up last night either.
That's fair. He
They were
did
down
down 40.
40.
They were on the
No.
road. They didn't have the wall. What are
No,
they
I
going to do
know.
without the wall?
Yeah. I mean, there are people saying that. Like, everything that happens, every time this happens again, it makes it harder and harder to say, okay, we have an integrity in our game. It's obviously a bad look. So
Pablo Torre.
Okay, well, Pablo's gonna have something.
I should have went right to Pablo
we
Torre.
should have his bookmarked.
Maybe I was giving Shams the credit because Pablo Torre 56 minutes ago said source tells Pablo Torre finds out that Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier was arrested Thursday morning.
Pablo gets a
All
good.
right, I'd rather have Pablo break this story.
In quotations, a lot more to come. Sources tell Pablo Torre Malik Beasley's fate also hinges on DOJ announcement. and that Malik Beasley was previously investigated and cleared. That'd be Department of Justice.
I know that, but what the announcement is? Doesn't he already know what's going to happen, or they just
I'm guessing this 9 a.m. press
he's
conference?
sitting there
that
waiting
night.
to know what's going to happen?
Could you imagine watching that presser on television?
I know. Could you imagine having a meeting scheduled to know your fate?
It's like, can we have a live stream? Right?
Yeah, I mean that's. Can you imagine having like a time?
I almost could imagine that. 11:15 update and changes.
Now then again, the consequences are a lot worse for him though.
Far worse than the one that hit our Outlook.
Malik was a real more obvious gambling problem, right? I mean, if you what we know about Malik's deal, and the fact that he wasn't going to be arrested yet. Because Malik was owing $30,000 to a barber in Milwaukee.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
next level
There's no haircut in this city costing $30,000.
Pablo Torre said, source.
I go to great clips. All right.
He said, quote, the NBA is under strict confidentiality, but you can't control the government.
Right. When they made their
was
DOJ
previously investigated and cleared by the NBA for, quote, making a bet or two on another sport.
Oh, well, that might be even. You don't want to bet on your own league, though. Like, that's the worst thing you can have, right?
Yeah, that would be
the
bad one.
I don't know. Jeez, this is wild.
Chauncey Billups arrested by the FBI. I pardon the laugh, but that is one of the wildest stories that is now developing in pro sports, and it might only get worse. And we'll find out a lot more within an hour and a half. Ooh. I'm excited now for 9 o'clock.
We'll be on the air.
I'm always excited for the 9 o'clock hour because we really hit our stride the 9 o'clock hour. The YouTube chat and comments section
picks up, yeah.
generally really picks up at 9 a.m. But you can fire yourself in there like JR. Let's go. Our friend John and IU said morning, fellas, as well. And we're going to say good morning to our friend Matt LePay in 20 minutes. It's an OBS on the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
In June of 77, Ram Jam have a top 20 U.S. hit single with a cover of Lead Belly's song Black Betty. Chicago area rock band Styx have a U.S. top 10 album Grand Illusion, including the top 10 single Come Sail Away.
Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me.
In July of 77, the Grateful Dead veered towards progressive rock, adding strings, horn, and a choir on their ninth studio album, Terrapin Station.
Terrapin, and the whistle is screaming, Terrapin.
In August of 77, the King dies. Elvis Presley is found dead in his home in Memphis, Tennessee at the age of 42. Detroit rock vocalist Iggy Pop releases his second solo album, Lust for Life. It's his second collaboration with David Bowie. New York's Billy Joel releases his fifth album, The Stranger. It goes to number 2 in the U.S., with the single Just the Way You Are rising to number 3.
I want you just the way you are.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1972.
We were singing bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove a Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die.
1972, Don McLean goes to number 1 with the single and album American Pie. Paul Simon's solo debut gives him a top 10 hit, Mother and Child Reunion. Fast forward to March, where Neil Young has a number 1 album and a number 1 single with Heart of Gold. And Deep Purple released their quintessential album Machine Head, which goes to number 1 in the UK, number 7 in the US, and features the classic hit Smoke on the Water. Also in March, the band America releases their debut album. It goes to #1 and yields a #1 single with Horse with No Name.
See, I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1972. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1978.
In January of 1978, the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack is released featuring the music of the Bee Gees. It hits #1 in the U.S. for more than 6 months. An amazing 18 weeks at #1 in the UK, it becomes the best-selling soundtrack album of all time. In February of 78, Pasadena, California hard rock band Van Halen released their self-titled debut album. It hits #19 on the charts. Their cover of The Kinks' You Really Got Me cracks the top 40 at number 36. In March, the Patti Smith Group released their third album, Easter. It goes to #20. Their single, Because the Night, goes to #13. It was co-written with Bruce Springsteen. In May of 78, Detroit rock singer Bob Seger releases his 10th album, Stranger in Town. It goes to #4 in the U.S., yielding 3 top 20 singles, including Still the Same, which also goes to #4.
Are you still the same?
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1978. Coming up.
We call it Wagertainment.
All right, place your bets, place your bets.
VSiN, every night at 6. Presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest on Fox Sports 920.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio. Soundtrack. Flashback.
Goonies Never Say Die. The soundtrack, however, spoke volumes. The 1985 movie and album was full of big bands and big hits like Cyndi Lauper's The Goonies Are Good Enough.
For more great movie soundtrack hits, check out Popcorn Radio on the iHeartRadio app.
Every gambler knows that the secret to surviving is knowing what to throw away, knowing what to keep, 'cause every hand's a winner and every hand's a loser, and the best that you can hope for is to die in your sleep. And when he finished,
or not to wake up on a Thursday with the FBI knocking at your door. It's no BS on the game. Billy and Sarian with you. 877-794-1973. Within the last hour, information is becoming very, very quickly gatherable in terms of an FBI investigation, an announcement coming from the Department of Justice later on in the 9 o'clock hour as to arrests being made, the NBA personnel in connection to an illegal gambling ring. Now, the people that we know of, Terry Rozier was arrested earlier this morning, and just now Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups has been arrested. Getting more information on Chauncey Billups' connection and some different reporting. Tom Winter in NBC News reporting that Billups has been arrested in connection to an investigation into illegal gambling not related to games he coached.
Which is interesting.
Two
right?
senior law enforcement officials are saying there. And we're getting other information that ABC is potentially reporting that it is tied to different poker games.
Right.
But either way, gambling, as Kenny Rogers said right there, still gambling.
Well, it is. And it's interesting.
You got to know when
Billy.
to hold them. You got to know when to fold them, depending
That's right.
on what it is. And ABC News, Portland Trailblazers head coach has been charged with illegal poker operation.
Okay.
Charged in an illegal poker operation tied to the big M word, mafia.
It's not good. Not good. And they still exist out there. If you're into mafia history,
They
which I'm kind
exist.
of the historian, they still are out there. Maybe not in the same form, but they are. They also. Now, here's the thing. I think we all went to one place when we heard this. We assumed betting on sports, right?
Right.
Because it's a basketball coach.
Instant.
It's
yes.
an NBA situation. Yep. We went to betting on sports. So clearly this is not necessarily that, which might make you feel a certain way about this, right? On one hand, it's like, this is a big problem. What's the league going to do to ensure integrity of the game? But this might have nothing to do with any of that, right? We're talking about illegal poker games. We're talking about something that's totally outside of basketball, which is for some people better news, and for some people worse news, right? For him, it's probably worse news. For some people, it's better news. This might be better for Adam Silver in the league. This might be better for those that want to see, sports gambling have more integrity, right? Into the whole process.
Could, yeah. I think the interesting part of it is, Armin, what you just mentioned there with it being outside of the FanDuels and DraftKings and Caesars and Potawatomi Sportsbooks. Sure. Is that like one of the big sells on the expansion of legalized sports gaming? Mm-hmm. Is that you are eradicating this part of it.
Yes.
Taking the money away from illegal odds makers, illegal bookmakers, wherever that happens, whoever it's backed with, whatever organized crime it is potentially associated with.
Correct.
And starts with cutting that off and being able to have all of it on the up and up. However, as I think we all know, and you live enough life, if something's illegal, and then it still becomes legal.
Someone's still going to try and
you're still going to go a lot of times to your illegal ways of doing the thing that you have been potentially doing for a long period of time.
Yeah, and operating poker games is something that casinos do, but a lot of people still choose to play at home, still choose to operate their own games, still try, that's a thing as well.
And this is far from your buddies getting together on Wednesday night and hanging out having poker night in your basement.
This is guys paying for dealers, taking rakes, all those things. And honestly, it might be as simple as providing didn't Gilbert Arenas, am I blanking on this? Didn't Gilbert Arenas get caught for this?
Sounds like
what was it? I mean, I don't want to say anything wrong, but it was just, he was providing
Allegedly.
the house. He was providing the house for it, right?
Yeah.
Or providing
Sure.
So that could be as simple as that. I'm not really sure. Either way, it's not a good look, but it doesn't matter. Perception becomes reality in that. A lot of people will just hear today, Chauncey Billups arrested for gambling. Mm-hmm. They're going to assume it's sports gambling. They know he's the head coach of the Blazers. They're going to assume it's betting on game. You know what I mean? Yes. It's perception, and it becomes reality if people believe that. That's
and you're always also going to be guilty until proven innocent in the court of public opinion.
Sure.
And this is one where the league goes on trial in the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
Not just the individual case studies. Terry Rozier also charged in a separate but related illegal gambling case. ABC News is saying he is among 6 people charged Thursday with turning professional basketball into a criminal gambling operation by using inside information to place unlawful wagers. Law enforcement officials told ABC. They continue on ABC News that FBI Director Kash Patel, again, one of the coolest names I've ever heard in my entire life, is also got to be a fake name, right?
No, I mean, I think
check the yearbook.
I don't know. It's an Indian name, I think. I really don't know. Honestly,
Cash with a K, coolest thing I've ever heard.
Well, it is cool. I mean, yeah,
Family Dog. That's actually his name, Cash.
All right,
named after Kashmir, the song by Led Zeppelin. Nothing to do with politics.
Yeah, it's an Indian name.
Is expected to announce the charges along with other law enforcement officials during the news conference later on. Fascinating story. Last year, if you remember, Toronto Raptors forward Jonte Porter pled guilty to wire fraud and received a lifetime NBA ban after he bet on his team to lose, pretended to be hurt for gambling purposes so he could hit some unders in some different investments. And that was shared with confidential information with gamblers. Those were linked to legitimate sports books. And again, there was a paper trail. And this one, as Billups was arrested in Oregon today, where he is expected to make an initial court appearance later on today, looks to be a much different and much bigger story that is being unearthed earlier on here today. What a wild situation. And one guy that I follow in the industry, John Hyslop, said, we really should be able to bet on who gets arrested next. I mean, like, there should be odds on who ends up going down
Yeah,
or
it could
what
be.
league, what division they come from of the next NBA potential investigation and arrest.
Yeah, that would be one that's pretty funny. That's a good one. Well, a little levity. for the
Comment section
situation.
on here is quite funny.
But I would assume so.
As instantly the Tom Brady meme comes up of him turning around in the courtroom smiling.
Yeah.
Jerry Rozier when he sees Chauncey Billups pull up to the basketball court.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks, Dan, on the YouTube. Yeah. Gilbert Arenas did just
Who's
get
right on
arrested,
point?
and Chauncey Billups might be related to the arena. Yeah. So, I mean, the Gilbert
Gotta be
Arenas
Mr. Big Shot.
had a similar thing. So, I wonder if these guys are providing the location for these poker games. I wonder if that's what it is. That's kind of my thought. I don't know.
I don't know.
mean,
I think you're just waiting, having Chauncey Billups come in and call the river.
Yeah, I know, right? He's dealing.
Like if you're playing Hold'em,
dealing, right? Chauncey's dealing, right?
when you need a big card on the last one, you're
Sure.
bringing in Mr. Big Shot.
Yeah.
Hey, hold this pair of cards for me really quick, Chauncey. Win. Bang. I'm calling upon, if you can get a celeb shot like it's beer pong.
Yeah,
I'm doing that every time.
Right.
Doing that every time.
That's all he was doing, right?
Man, it's
Maybe,
incredible
I don't
stuff.
know.
I would
Maybe, I don't know.
maybe a little
Who knows? We don't know any of it right now. This is
don't.
all alleged.
No,
It's
so
all
I'm still waiting
alleged.
for more tweets from Shams on this one. Maybe I should just wait for the FBI press.
No, just go to Pablo Torre. He's way
I was
out.
going to say
Pablo's
he
way,
might
yeah,
be the
he's
one,
gotta be.
or as again, the comment section fires in here on the Shams tweet. Let's just go to the DraftKings hotline.
There you have it. I mean, that's the reality of the irony of this situation, right? Let's just be honest with it. That's the irony of this.
Also,
It's-
I'm messed up. Was the Jailblazers their nickname back in the day?
yeah, that was the
I'm hearing a lot of
Rasheed Wallace.
Jailblazers 2.0.
Yeah, that was the
Some bad
early
boys.
2000s. Yeah, because they were always in trouble. Good team though. They should have beat the Lakers in that game 7.
Maybe
They
the
should
refs
have.
had something to do with
How do
that.
you feel
We
if you're
will
the
never know.
Timberwolves last night? You just beat the Trailblazers and their coaches get.
I think you feel good. I mean, you.
That's true. It wasn't sports gambling.
I
You
mean-
won that game fair and square.
I mean, Ant put up 40, didn't he? Yeah.
Anytime Anthony Edwards on your team, you're going to feel all right. We're going to learn a lot more into hour 3. Starts up with the voice of the Badgers. Matt LePay is next on No BS on the Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
Low-budget film Easy Rider captures the public imagination with a soundtrack by Steppenwolf, the Byrds, and the Electric Prunes. The Woodstock Music and Art Fair is held August 15th through 18th on Max Yasgur's farm in Bethel. 32 of the biggest bands of the day played to a crowd estimated at 500,000. The event is later released as a movie and album. And with the boost from their appearance at Woodstock, San Francisco band Santana hits the top 10 with their debut album, Evil Ways. The festival undoubtedly immortalized Jimi Hendrix and ushered in the era of large rock concerts and arena rock bands. Also in October, Led Zeppelin have their only U.S. top 10 hit when Whole Lotta Love reaches number 4.
I'm gonna give you my love. I'm gonna give you my love. Oh, whole lot of love. Whole lot of love. Whole lot of love.
The Allman Brothers Band released their debut album on Capricorn Records to good reviews but limited sales. And 7 years after his last number 1, Elvis Presley tops the charts with Suspicious Minds.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1974.
In April, Diamond Dogs is a number 1 album in the UK for David Bowie. It goes to number 5 in the US.
Rebel, rebel, you torn your dress. Rebel, rebel, your face is a mess. Rebel, rebel, how could they know? Hot tramp, I love you so.
In June of 1974, Chicago funk band Rufus, featuring lead singer Shaka Khan, score a number 3 hit with Tell Me Something Good. UK supergroup Bad Company have a number 1 album and a top 5 single, Can't Get Enough.
Can't get enough, enough of your love. I can't get enough of your love. I can't get enough of your love. Yeah, this one, this one. Oh, come on, baby.
Dutch hard rock band Golden Earring have a number 13 hit with the single Radar Love.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1976.
Bob Dylan releases his album Desire. It goes to number 1 in the States, thanks mainly to significant radio airplay for the single Hurricane.
Couldn't help but make me feel ashamed to live in a land where justice is a game.
Scottish sensations, the Bay City Rollers, finally score a hit in the U.S. with the number 1 single, Saturday Night.
Saturday
In February, former Steve Miller Band member Boz Scaggs has a number 2 U.S. album with Silk Degrees. Peter Frampton hits number 1 with his double live album Frampton Comes Alive. It would become the best-selling album of 1976.
I want you, show me the way every day. I want you, show me the way night and day.
In March, Irish hard rockers Thin Lizzy's 6th album, Jailbreak, scores them a number 12 hit single with The Boys Are Back in Town.
The boys are back in town again. Been hanging down at Dino's.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1976. Coming up.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Pat Benatar songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Love is a Battlefield. Number 2, We Belong.
Whatever we defy or embrace, for worse or for better, we belong. We belong together.
Number 1, Hit Me With Your Best Shot.
Hit me with your best shot. Why don't you hit me with your best shot? Hit me with your best shot. Fire away.
Hear more from Pat Benatar and similar artists now. Search for Pat Benatar on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Where the streets have no name. Where the streets have no name. Still building and
No BS on the game. Billy and Sarian with you on the iHeart Audio app on 1070 The Game in Madison. Waking up with you across the state. That flamethrower talking Badgers football now across the state of Wisconsin, and waking up in Rhinelander with you. And on the YouTube stream and X stream, that's where you got to see our unfiltered reaction within the last hour to the gambling investigations and arrests in the NBA that are going down. We'll have more on that as it continues on. But that beautiful song brings in our favorite conversation of the week. Matt LePay joins us now on that same YouTube and X stream. You can go and see the voice of the Wisconsin Badgers before he goes and gets ready to call the Badgers and Ducks in Eugene, Oregon. Matt, one of my favorite stadiums to watch football in on Saturdays is Autzen Stadium. I think the sight lines are phenomenal. The energy is always A1, and it is going to be a heck of an atmosphere for a college football game coming up on Saturday night.
And it's a Grateful Dead theme this week in Eugene.
Oh.
So they're all going to be, I think the uniforms are going to have a little bit of that Deadhead kind of design to it, which is really great. Wayne.
Well, that's all up for grabs in Oregon, right?
I was gonna say,
you
yes.
can do just about anything and everything in Oregon.
You wouldn't get in trouble for gamble. Because it's an interesting situation right now in that state with what Chauncey Billups is doing. That is Portland, right? Oregon.
You're
yeah.
correct.
So I think the Grateful Dead is probably I don't know what that's about. What kind of joke I can make there? I can't think of one.
Well,
However, that's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. What's also interesting, guys, is that as this investigation is breaking and we've got some obviously big news in the NBA, there's also the news this week that college athletes are now allowed to bet on professional sports. So
yeah, there you have it.
There you have it. So yeah, what could go wrong?
nobody really knows.
They brought to you by the Potawatomi Sports.
Indeed. Now, yeah, nobody really knows what the rules are anymore, right? I mean, we're going to play the Izzo audio at some point of him complaining, which is, I think he makes a lot of great points. Nobody really knows what the rules are with the NCAA anymore, of guys in the G League coming back to play. This is now you have to prepare information on your spotting board for any potential athlete, which includes G League players, Matt LePay.
Well, the running joke is talking to some folks yesterday. Say Johnny Davis playing with the Herd right now, right? Hey, Johnny, you got some eligibility if you need to. Come on back, man. I think it's a pretty deep team that Wisconsin has, but if you have a chance to get Johnny, and I think you jump on that opportunity. Yeah, I think part of the thinking here is probably twofold. They don't want to get sued anymore, the NCAA, because they're like the Washington Generals when it comes to that. They don't do very well. And the other is, I think, with it, where they probably are trying to justify it is with the international players who are coming here, and the leagues that they were in overseas. But yeah, you're right, Armin. I think we don't know what the rules are, and maybe it just comes down to, are there any rules? Just do what you got to do, and whatever penalties come, that'll probably be in the year 2095. So don't worry about it. Just go for it.
That's the part of it. There's a little bit of a, bless you, sweetheart feel I have for the NCAA here. It's where like, man, bless you, heart, bless your heart. Like thinking that you can have any bit of say or sway in anything right now, Matt, because it feels like they're so powerless, especially in football and basketball, the two sports we discuss and follow the most, the ones that are the biggest revenue drivers at this point. Feels like the NCAA is so palms up. We don't know what we can enforce, but hey, we find an opportunity to show that we still have some power. We're going to hall monitor-esque flex that power on you and show that we still have some enforcement opportunity.
Yeah, I've used that term a lot, flex, like a selective flex with eligibility, because there had been this talk the last couple of years where instead of 5 years to play 4 seasons, it would be 5 for 5. And there was a feeling that was inevitable. Well, it isn't. It's going to stay 5 years to play 4 seasons, at least through 26, 27. Here's what they do. And it's the same thing with the college football playoff when they talk about expansion. You have a discussion followed by another discussion, followed by a discussion when you're going to have your next discussion. And then you form a working group where you have many more discussions, which leads to more discussions. And if you're really good at it, you could do it in a posh resort in, Marco Island, Florida, or something like that. You come away saying, no, we're going to table this until next February. And that's how a lot of this stuff works. But the bottom line is, when the games are being played, when the best teams are on, 8 to 10 million people are going to view to these games every week. So it's just round and round it goes. They can be that way. They are that way because they can, because we're still going to watch the games on Saturday.
Well, and that's the best way of putting it, because the games have been so dang good, Matt. If the product wasn't so good right now, maybe we would all be able to do the, we keep hearing a lot on our text line, we're going to boycott this. But listen, our product is too good. People don't want to turn it away. Just like in college sports, nobody wants to turn away because the games, especially in college football right now, as much as it's changing, as much as the NIL can be gross and nasty to listen to, and the numbers are astronomical, the games and the product on the field is hard to say it's ever really been better, Matt, with how many consequential games there are week in and week out.
Yeah, I think with this, it's almost like real estate. It's all local, because right now, if you surveyed the landscape and asked fans what they think of major college football, it would not be a very good opinion, because the Badgers are having a bad year. They're having a lousy year. We know that. But I wonder sometimes, though, guys, and we've seen this with Major League Baseball to an extent, because there is greater access to the playoff, sometimes we confuse that with more parity. Let's see what the last 4 teams standing look like in the college football, because last year they were all big budget teams, much like we're seeing with Major League Baseball, but it at least gets you access to the tournament. And Indiana is, of course, an exception. Indiana's blowing up what I just said with what they're doing. All of a sudden, the losingest program in FBS historically is now ranked second in the country after a terrific year last year, getting into the playoff. And you get some others, certainly Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech rising back up. You get some of those teams, but will you be one of the last 4? Will you be one of the last 2? Because for the longest time, that's what we focused on.
Yeah.
Who are the top 2? Who are the top 4? So it does, but to your point, it does create a lot more interest. There is you're allowed to lose a game early, like an Alabama did to a Florida State team that's not very good. And now the tide that truly is rolling and on their way, you would think, to the playoff. So it does. I think it's a great way to increase the interest, particularly with programs that would not have been talked about otherwise. In a 14 playoff, those other stories would have been cute stories, but now it's legit because they've got a legit chance to get into the college football playoff.
Well, and Matt, that's the interesting part too. It's like a recalibration of the standard and the expectation. I think programs are having it. I think fan bases are having it. Badger fans might be, and we've talked about it a couple of different times. No Big Ten West. Sadly, those days aren't coming back, and that's a recalibration of where how close you get to different playoffs and such things. But like now, when what you're referencing and some of the top programs in ball are always looking at it like, well, we can't get into the college football playoff, but now hold on, 12 teams. Now we're for sure into the playoff, and now you got to win a game to hold your job. There's a different job security aspect of it, and I think we're talking about that with the expansion of the NCAA basketball tournament. In terms of people are like, well, listen, as long as you make the tournament, it's going to be easier to hold on and maintain. The college football one is different because I just watched James Franklin be 3 plays away from playing for the national title, and my man gets gassed 6 games into the season. Like, you can think that it buys you some time and some credence with the fan base, but it does still seem like it's going to be a case-by-case basis. And if there's a decision to be made, teams want to make it, they'll make it if they have to.
We're definitely seeing that, Billy. And I think too, and we've seen that here to an extent because the Badgers have had really a stretch of really good years. Obviously the back-to-back Rose Bowls, which those guys were celebrated, as well as the 93 team last weekend. Okay, you've got the Rose Bowl a couple times. Let's get that extra step to get to the Natty. You get a little itchy for more, and you might change how you recruit. You take a swing, doesn't work out. You're kind of Joe Average for the next few years. And I wonder if some extent that's what's happened here to where the program is now, because from 2010 to 2019, they were really good. And by today's standards would have made the CFP probably 5 or 6 times. But they didn't. They weren't quite there. Didn't quite win the Big Ten. So you take a really big swing. So far not working. You recalibrate your approach, or assuming that everybody is back next year, you have to do things maybe a little bit differently. You've got to get out more, which Luke Fickell talked about last night on his radio show. Yes, I got to do a better job of getting out in the public. You want to continue to try to get guys who are here because they love the University of Wisconsin, all of that. But it's natural when you hit a certain level, everybody wants you to take that swing to get you to the next.
What's next?
What's next? And whatever you are, it's not quite good enough. You have to keep pushing it. And sometimes you I don't know if succumb to that is the right way of putting it, but you go ahead and take a big swing. And that's a home run. Sometimes you strike out.
Sorry about that, man. Yeah, I think that's the reality of sports fans in the state in almost every sport recently. Like all of our teams have been good to a modicum level, to the point where you do get hungry for more, for that next step, for that ultimate prize. And I think about things like bad fortune sometimes. Programs can get better, can get worse, rise and fall based on certain cycles, based on a multitude of factors. But it seems like the bad fortune part of it is the way that the landscape has changed around the Badgers at the wrong time, right? You're talking about like the Big Ten, to me, has become one of the most dominant, probably the most dominant conference, especially at the top. Now, at kind of the worst time for the Badgers, right? I mean, this is what the SEC, we were talking about 10, 15 years ago, the dominance of it with all these teams at the top, with just the murderer's row schedule. And the reality of what you said, like the playoff expansion happened during the worst part of the cycle for Badgers football.
It did, and I would think that everybody over there now, you're looking back to when NIL started, July 1, 2021, and you have to look back and you say, okay, what were we doing or not doing? Why? And what are we going to do about it? I think that's where you have to, like, everybody has to look in the mirror here at some point. And I understand the frustration, absolutely understand the frustration with Badger fans, because it's one thing to not be able to beat Ohio State for 15 years, in Ophir against Penn State since 2011. But it's another to be passed up by Iowa, Minnesota, Indiana, Illinois, teams that At worst, you have come close to even with, like a Iowa in the last couple decades. But other programs that you pretty much dominated, but we haven't seen that in the last few years. And that's the tough part, where there's so many things that have gone into where this program is right now, and I think Luke Fickell has taken a lot of ownership in that, but he's not alone in it. I think as a department, as an institution, a better job of reaching out to the community. Thank you to the fans who have been there at Camp Randall this year. That's one thing that I'd like to say. I know the attendance is down considerably, but for those who have been there, thank you for doing this. And I know some of the chants haven't been overly complimentary, but understand the frustration. We've talked many times, guys, on these segments about what is being asked of the fan these days. And, it's a lot.
Getting tougher and tougher.
So, yeah, it is getting. And so now, the fascinating study, and I think not just locally, fascinating is not the right word, I think, for fans, but I think nationally, when I listen to people I respect on national platforms, they're watching, say, okay, what did you or didn't you do in the world of NIL? What are you going to do about it? Because the national perception of Luke Fickell is that he's a damn good coach. Now, he's made mistakes here. He's owning it. And if he's going to continue here, I think everybody over there knows you got to change a few things, what you do. But I don't think he took stupid pills when he got this job. But so now we'll see if they're going to run it back here. We're looking at the 2026. What will change? Because it's a long road to earn back the trust of a fan base right now that is very disappointed. And you always fear that next step. What follows that? Apathy.
Yeah.
You have to try to win that back, and that's going to be hard to do overnight. But the one thing, too, it's a deep hole that they're in, and it might take some time, but we've also seen how quickly programs can rise and fall, and not just Wisconsin. I'm talking about blue bloods, Florida State. The Badgers of Florida State have matching conference losing streaks right now, and it's really hard to imagine at Wisconsin. It's beyond imaginable what has happened with Florida State. So we'll see how long it takes them. The Gators, Florida Gators, they've been Joe average, not even Joe average. The Gators, how long will that take? Maybe you could catch lightning in a bottle like Indiana. Maybe not. It might be a little more of a painstaking process.
Could be. And listen, there's so many different ways that the wheel turns, Matt, right? Listen, Nebraska has thought that they're jumping into the upper echelon for a number of times. And then Matt Rule just keeps Matt ruling himself. And I love that dude. I love listening to him talk, but he hasn't won a game against a ranked opponent in a number of years. I think the important part of what happened this week, and, correct me if you think I'm misguided here, but in the statement and the letterhead, beautiful post, by the way, from Chris McIntosh. The graphics department. Graphics department, A1 job.
Did a great job.
The football stadium in the top, I loved it. But that part of it with the graphic and all of that is phenomenal. But the statement in there was a little admission of guilt, might be strong, but I think it's an admission of guilt of, hey, we spend the money and we make the decision to hire Luke Fickell. Then there needs to be more than just, sweet, was high price coach, big time coach, top coach, top candidate. Now let's go do it. In the world and the ever changing landscape of college football, there then has to be the double up on the back end. And I think that's been where there's a miscommunication, because I think fans might be tough when and I think it's a higher Tauscher chant. They're trying to get Tausch a bigger spot in the athletics department. That's what those chants were at the games.
Gotta be.
But in the midst of that, the thought is we want to know, are you given the right opportunity and the right assets, the right, financial backing, and are we picking the wrong guys? Or do we not have the financial backing? Let's throw the money into it and then see what we're at on a level playing field. And I think the latter was a little bit of, if you read between the lines in that 2-page post, that's what we're going to see. And I'm excited to see as somebody that's backed it up and said, I still think he's a good coach. I don't think he forgot how to coach football. Let's see what he's got with somewhat of a leveler playing field with the middle to upper echelon of the Big Ten in 2026. It appears that's what we're going to find.
And that's where what they're doing is probably trying to play catch up in that area of the resources. And it's hard for a lot of folks to understand, and it's understandable that they would have little trouble digesting all this because that big construction process that's going on next to Camp Randall Stadium with the indoor facility and ticket prices going up and all of that. That's part of where a lot is being asked of the fans, and I just think that's where better outreach can, better sense of connectivity with the fans and get out there and own it publicly where you believe you've fallen short and listening to fans and all that. And that's where I thought it was really encouraging what Luke was saying last night on his show, because he admitted he has not done a good enough job there. So you try to do, if this is going to continue, those are the kind of things that you have to do. How you come up with that in a hurry is beyond me. I'd love to have the disposable income and say, how many millions do you need? Sure, I'll help you out, but that's just not quite in the budget, not quite in
this bill.
But the other thing too, Billy, and I think it's a legit question to ask is, if you get those resources, will fans, do you trust them to evaluate properly?
Yeah.
Bring in the type of players, and can you retain them? Can you bring in somebody for a year and then he goes off somewhere else? I mean, those are all the challenges that Wisconsin faces. I think it's fair to say they try to do things a little differently, and maybe by the book, whatever the book was, and it's like you get behind the curve a little bit, and that's where they've been passed. I don't know if this gives Badger fans any comfort, but we know Wisconsin hasn't beaten a ranked team since 2021. You know who else hasn't? Iowa.
Hey,
there we go.
But the bad news is they've beaten Wisconsin the last 4 times. So it's that probably doesn't make anybody feel better, but I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Listen, Matt, I just think there's, found different reasons and ways to be positive the last couple of post games. I'm excited for you to dust off that Case IH read into the Case IH red zone.
It's ready.
I'd like to break that out. They actually did get in there briefly. They were in there for like one play. They were at the 19, and then they went the other way.
That's right. Then a whole
great receive.
We're in there.
Let's
We're
move
getting
some
in there.
tractors.
Come on now.
Let's move some tractors.
Get into the red zone and move the ball. And this is an impressive Oregon team. Dan Lanning's an awesome coach. And their quarterback 2 weeks ago was the Heisman front runner. He's for real. Dante Moore, we're going to see coming up on Saturday night.
Yeah, he can run it when he needs to. He completes 72%. They have a parade of running backs, and they got a couple of big-time breakaway threats there. And unfortunately, defensively, they're very good as well. So I'm hoping one of these weeks I can actually say those 2 words when Wisconsin gets into the end zone. We'll see. But they're good. They had a mulligan at home against Indiana. They had an 18-game home winning streak until the Hoosiers rolled in there. But they've been dominant on the home turf. And they got jump around here. They got shout. Otis Day and the Knights, otherwise the Isley brothers, but I think of Otis Day and the Knights from the Great Motion Picture Animal House.
Yes.
I just think Tim Matheson should have won an Oscar for his role in there. I don't know. Billy, you probably don't even know the movie, do you?
I know the movie.
Oh, trust me, listen, the kind of college parties we were having, that got shown. That was shown.
Really quick, if Brian Butch had any eligibility left, how much would he have to pay Greg Gard to get some playing time?
That's a good. Yeah. It's like the euchre. It's like the euchre line. I had a $5,000 bonus for the Brewers. I didn't know my parents had that money.
I got that money.
I think Butchie could get you 2 or 3 trips down the floor.
Yes.
Probably sloppily bank in a shot for old time's sake. A banked in 3 that cracks the glass.
He'll shoot the technical free throw, right? Or the intentional foul.
Yeah.
Flagrants.
Can he still dunk?
He claims that.
Okay. I'll trust him. I mean, he is a 7-footer.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking he might just a little polite one-hand flush.
He does at the camps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he Joel Embiid it without jumping?
All those Peloton workouts he's had, I think he's staying in tip-top shape. So you never underestimate Butchie.
Yeah, I talked to him this week. You can almost smell the sweat through the phone because of the work he's putting on that Peloton. So he's going to be yamming.
Oh, brother, I can dunk. You know where I'm
at. I'm good. I'm on the right block, brother. I'm getting that mic and drill, man. He'd be able to fill it up. But I'm with you 2 times down the floor, and then he's getting the take foul to get himself out in a nice celebratory
Tugging the jersey.
Yes.
Come get me.
Come on, we're out here. Matt, appreciate it as always, man. Safe travels, and can't wait to be on the broadcast tomorrow. And hey, special seasons are made of special stories. Let's go make a special story tomorrow night in Eugene, Oregon. How about it?
Or even better yet, Saturday. This is Thursday. Is this Thursday? Yeah, it'll be on Saturday.
It's
I know
Thursday.
time flies. Time flies when you're having fun. That's
Get used to the schedule.
if they change the game time, maybe they'll just call it remotely.
Excuse my guy Billy for that, and yeah,
Billy, you are the best. You just
That was as natural as you possibly could, as
Oh, it was
brutally
great.
as you could botch that one. Matt, Saturday is better for fighting in Eugene, Oregon. We'll talk to you then.
All right, boys. Take care.
Yeah, man. There he is, Matt LePay, hanging out with us here on No BS.
And man-
How many times did I say tomorrow?
I don't think it was a
Hey,
lot. That might have
okay.
been the other one. Let's hope that their plane
5,
gets out
6.
there.
I was gonna say 5, 6, 7 the whole time.
Um,
No, just
That's
just,
hilarious.
Just twice.
Let's hope their plane gets out there better. We need a better plane than the one the Packers had to go west.
Yes,
The
yes,
lug nuts
yes.
tightened up. So
Get that thing tight. Let's get it off the runway into the air. Land in Eugene. That's a long flight. That is about as far west as you can possibly get.
West. I thought you said east.
All right. Now you watch it. You lock it up over there because I'm going to keep messing it up. I'm going to keep finding different ways to have some botches. That's Andrew Ludwig, NAU's finest. The Lumberjacks chopping down some Eugene Redwood, 32.5 points of that Redwood, Armin. Are you interested in that one? coming
I
up on
might be.
Saturday night?
I have confidence in the Badgers.
Could be. We got confidence in our friend Matt Miller stopping by on the other side and talk a little college football. And as well, give you the latest as it develops into one of the most unique and ever-changing stories in sports, the NBA gambling investigations and arrests that are going down. We'll give you the latest on the other side. It's No BS on the Game.
After a successful home opener in a 5-3 win over Texas, Milwaukee hits the road as they travel to San Jose for the first time since 2017. Into the slot, he'll find Thompson. Left circle, shoots. Save made. Rebound score. Pre-game on Friday at 8:30. Face-off at 9 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1973.
In November of 73, Billy Joel's second album yields a minor hit with Piano Man, which goes to number 25.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you've got us feeling all right.
Ringo Starr continues his solo success with the number 2 album and 3 top 10 hits, including 2 number 1s, Photograph and You're 16. Meanwhile, John Lennon releases his 4th solo album, Mind Games, which goes to number 9 in the U.S. And in December, the single Taken Care of Business drives the second album by Canadian rock band Bachman Turner Overdrive to number 4. Emerson, Lake and Palmer released their 4th album, Brain Salad Surgery, which goes to number 11. And after passing away in a plane crash in September, Jim Croce has a posthumous number 1 with Time in a Bottle.
Looked around enough to know you're the one I want to go through time.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1971.
The Doors released their 6th and final studio album, LA Woman, while Paul McCartney releases his second solo album, Ram, which goes to number 1 UK and number 2 US. The album includes several jibes at John Lennon and the number 1 single, Uncle Albert Admiral Halsey. In May of 71, soul singer Marvin Gaye releases his concept album What's Going On and has 3 top 10 singles. And Rod Stewart's 3rd solo album goes number 1 and has a number 1 single, Maggie May.
Maggie, I wish I'd never seen your face.
In July of 71, The Who releases Who's Next. It tops the charts in the UK and goes to number 4 in the US.
Teenage wasteland, teenage wasteland. They're all wasted.
The Allman Brothers released their breakthrough live double album at Fillmore East. And in August, the concert for Bangladesh, organized by George Harrison and Ravi Shankar, is held in New York City. In addition to the organizers, Eric Clapton, Bob Dylan, Badfinger, Leon Russell, and Billy Preston appear.
Feel my guitar gently weep.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1971. Coming up.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Billy Joel songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, My Life.
I don't care what you say anymore. This is my life. Go ahead with your own life. Leave me alone.
Number 2, It's Still Rock and Roll to Me.
Nowadays you can't be too sentimental. Your best bet's true, baby blue continental. Hot funk, cool punk, even if it's old junk, it's still rock and roll to me.
Number 1, Uptown Girl.
She's been living in her right great world as long as anyone would hot can. And now she's looking for a downtown man. That's what I am.
Hear more from Billy Joel and similar artists now. Search for Billy Joel on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Bryan Adams to discuss the metamorphosis of a song as years pass.
I mean, the interesting thing about a song and the metamorphosis of a song is that you spend, I don't know, let's say you spend 2 months making a record and you put out a song. It becomes permanent in people's minds. You know, it's like if you go and see Dylan play, and the songs they're going to play of Dylan are going to be, Blown on the Wind and those versions that he cut in 1965. Meanwhile, that guy's had years of playing the same song, and it's become a different thing for him, and he's learned how to rearrange it and play it in a place where he's more comfortable, or it's metamorphosized itself naturally into being something different. And that's what happened with these songs too.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Bryan Adams and all your favorite artists.
No BS on the game. I appreciate you caping up for me, Armin. Sorry, not the
That's
other
all
side of the
happened off
table.
air. We'll talk about it here.
We're going to get right into it on the air as our friend Matt Miller is here with a careless whisper hanging out with us here on No BS in a phenomenal Admirals hoodie that you're seeing on the YouTube and
Coolest
Xtreme.
thing ever.
Now, that logo,
That's
the
a great-
not the
Crunch.
original Admiral.
No.
It's the Captain Crunch Admiral.
Yeah, the big face Admiral.
And the big old hockey stick. And my man is ready to absolutely mess someone up with the 70s.
Like Happy Gilmore's putter.
It
Oh,
is
it's
one of the
phenomenal
most
look.
beautiful things I own.
That guy, that Admiral logo. Now, I always appreciate the schnoz on this one.
Yeah.
The nose. Like, that is a big nose. You know what I mean? I like that.
That's a nose that could take a puck to the face.
That's
Well, I've been known to have a big nose, like
a nose that only a big nose guy
Same.
could love.
only a big nose guy could love, which that's me. That's me.
Took me a while to grow into my schnoz.
Okay. All right. It's off camera right now, but we'll
Awesome.
get a look at that thing.
Yeah, we'll get a look at that ankle at some particular.
You can always
point in
sniff
time.
out a phony, right? I mean, that's what,
Yeah. What?
I don't know. I was just trying to think of a joke. It didn't land.
This
I'm
has
sorry.
been schnoz chat.
This is
All right, so after that,
We had a note
that
for
was-
Matt written down. I
That
think.
banter leads us into the banter that we were having off the air, whether we bring into.
It wasn't
on
banter.
the
I
air.
was yelling at you
I
guys.
was going to say you came in a little hot, Matt, because we discussed yesterday a little bit of Titanic conversation, the movie, not the shipwreck. Also, actually started with the shipwreck because I decided that the reason why I'm not wanting to go on a cruise ship
That's
is
what it
because I'm
was.
nervous about it leaving without me.
Edmund
Not fair.
Fitzgerald,
That's
also
hard-
another
I
thing,
think that's a
another
fair
ship that kind of
concern,
sank. Yeah.
Tardiness is something that I struggle with, Matt.
Mhm.
I'm not good at being on time. Luckily, we've only been doing this 2.5 weeks. I still have been on time every week, but it's been close a couple of times.
That's impressive.
So that is my fear of going on a cruise. And then we lead into the Titanic conversation. And I said, I don't believe I've seen the movie
You should. It's
all
good.
the way through.
Good motion picture.
Because and I realized this in the rewatch of yesterday's show, because we go back, check the tape, figure out
Yeah,
where we
you guys eat chew tape. Yeah.
where we can get better,
Yeah.
what we should have said,
It's
the
an air
one-liner
check.
that we missed.
See what plays. Yeah.
Do an air check. Yeah.
Realize that I think the reason why I missed it was when that movie was at its peak, late 90s,
98, right?
97, 97, 98.
You should know this.
97.
He kind of knows.
Yeah, of course.
My
1997.
cousin
98%
was
sure.
my main babysitter. and she was 19, 20, 21 years old. Her and my other cousins, female cousins, would always be watching Titanic all day long while I was 4 or 5 years old.
The 2-tape set. Yeah,
Yes.
the 2 VHSs.
That's
And
right.
I just got told to leave all the time.
Yeah.
They're like, Billy, this part's not for you, which is, I think, the entire second disc.
The scene of the painting. The
I
naked
imagine the
stuff?
painting and the
death.
car scene.
Oh, the car scene. I thought maybe the
and
death.
then the death stuff.
I was
going
going to say the death stuff, I think, was also part of the reason why.
How did James Cameron get this thing snuck in as a PG-13 movie when there's visibly nudity?
All right, so I'm going to explain to you something about the rating system.
Let's go.
It's up for sale.
Non-sexual nudity can get into PG-13 rated movies.
Because a lot of moms went, "Oh, son," and put their hand over their kids' eyes.
I mean, part of it is also the MPAA, like they can be nudged in certain
no kidding,
directions,
right?
But also,
Sure,
like
but the bachelor party scene in
very-
American Wedding wasn't
very weird about
just the rest
why
of the
they
movie,
give
though.
things. So like
Yeah.
nudity that is not sexually related,
I
like
get it.
something's got to give. With the late great Diane Keaton, that movie has I think like full frontal nudity, but since it's not of a sexual nature, the ratings committee was like, I don't know, yeah, sure, PG-13. And also, if you want to say the F word on in a movie, it has to be in a non-sexual context, and that is how you get it into a PG-13 movie. It's got to be like an
Interesting.
anger
Yeah.
profanity.
That's the more you know right there.
So
Yeah,
now,
it's all very silly. And then this all goes back to, there wasn't even a PG-13 rating until 1984. So a movie like Poltergeist, where a guy's literally like ripping his face apart in bloody detail, is like, yeah, that's a PG.
Thank
That's
you.
a polite
Right.
PG
That
rating.
explains why I was as scarred as I was when that first came through.
Yeah, it
Major
was
League
not-
had an R rating, and I had to convince my mom when I was 12. This is just a baseball movie.
But Jaws is
should,
PG, and
Yeah.
Jaws is a movie where a man is like bleeding out, being
Yeah.
eaten in half by a
Oh
shark.
yeah, I mean, but that's
Not a
that's
real
normal.
shark.
I'm just kidding.
Close enough.
Luddy,
Jaws
I
is
got
good.
terrible news for you about just about every movie that's ever been made.
All right, so
So they don't use real ones?
Luddy watches Avengers Endgame. It's just like, where did they film this?
Where did they find these guys?
They threw that moon? Where did they afford that moon?
well, my defense off air was you were saying, how could you not watch it? I said that's a big 5-year difference between being born in 89 and 94 culturally. I think, at least growing up with cinema and media.
On some level, but Titanic has been like a benchmark movie
That's
ever
true.
since it came out. Like it has been a cultural staple. It's not
Yes.
like Kate Winslet.
Yeah.
It's not like Kate Winslet went anywhere. It's not like Leonardo DiCaprio went anywhere. It's not like James Cameron went anywhere. Like everyone involved in Titanic is still a cultural figure. The movie is still iconic. And I mean, the conversations about like, oh, could they both have fit on the door and
All that
like, all
stuff,
that
yeah.
stuff. It is a movie that has maintained relevance over its years. So I think the big problem is that it is a 4-hour-long movie.
It's 195 minutes.
it's gonna take a
Incredibly.
while.
It's
That's
a
longer than
very
Hoop
long
Dreams.
watch, and I will say worth the watch.
Yeah, it's
it's
good.
still an incredible movie. I know some people don't like it, but Titanic rules, man. They
That's
don't make
the,
it like that anymore.
Is that the studio dream to have a movie that has a huge budget, yet the box office still like totally overwhelms any level? It was like a $2.2 billion box office.
It's
because
the
people
hope.
would go every
I think that would
weekend.
definitely be the dream.
That wasn't one of those movies, if I remember correctly, from which I was like 14. That wasn't a movie where you saw once and it was over. People were going there every weekend just as their entertainment for like 3 months.
100%.
That and Home Alone.
And that James Cameron
Dark
is one
Knight.
of the great gamblers of Hollywood history, where like every time Hollywood gives him a blank check, he's like, all right, I'm gonna make this Titanic movie, and everyone's like, that's a bad idea. That movie's doomed to be sad, and
Sure,
you're
who
spending
wants to
too
watch?
much money on it,
Mhm.
and no one's gonna see it. Everyone was like, Titanic is gonna ruin James Cameron's career. Lo and behold, wins Best Picture,
course.
highest grossing movie of all time. And then he's like, I want to make some movies about blue people. And I think people are gonna be really into it.
Just
And
wait, Disney. I got you.
I'm gonna need $500 million to make
Half
these
a what?
movies happen, and they're like, sure, enjoy not making that back.
After not working for basically 10 plus years,
I mean, he was basically just going to the bottom of the ocean for like 10 years,
showing
He
up
was
on
like,
Entourage every couple seasons.
showing up on Entourage, and then being like, I'm gonna follow my real passion, which is submarines. And
Oh,
I'm just
really?
gonna
Okay.
like all the stuff with that submarine that exploded. One of the key like witnesses
This is amazing. Yeah.
is James Cameron,
Wow.
because he's like a true deep sea diving expert. Like,
I'm so glad I didn't make my joke that I had holstered up when you were about to say that.
oh boy, but yeah, like James Cameron is just, and very few people can pull off what he does.
Yeah.
Ask
no
the
kidding.
Tron franchise.
That's true.
where
It
they're
came,
Yeah.
The whole inspiration though for the film came with this fascination for shipwrecks, which is I think is incredible, right? Because it's more than. Of course, he threw the love story in with different social class. That's what makes it a palatable.
That's how you get it.
Well,
And
also
like
you,
in a
you
movie.
need that. You need the human
Need that.
element of the story, because otherwise you're just a grave march. You're
Otherwise, it's just
depressed.
History Channel.
Sad documentary.
It's History Channel.
And
right.
also, like, that movie hits every audience then too. You know, you have the people who want to watch the doomed romance. You have the people who want to see the spectacle of the boat collapsing and all that stuff. Like, you have the history nuts.
Yes.
You know, everybody had something to watch there in Titanic, and lo and behold, comes the highest grossing movie of all time. Not anymore. It has been well past at this point.
But don't they adjust with inflation, the box
I
office?
mean, yeah, if you include inflation, no one's beat Gone with the Wind. So,
Right.
but
Fair.
like,
Whoa.
that's not fun. Like, that's,
Yeah, we can't be doing that. We're
That's
not
like
going
being
that
like,
way.
well, if you adjust for inflation, no one's ever beaten the 1927 Yankees.
Yes,
Like,
we want big
there's never
numbers.
been another World Series champion.
Well, they,
Like Cy
they
Young's
screwed us
500
with the
wins.
Mickey Mantle 500-foot home run.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
gosh,
There's no chance that was
565.
a 565-foot home run.
Yeah, no chance. And is anyone breaking the record? And people talk about unbroken records or what record will be broken. No one's getting 500 pitching wins again, Cy Young.
I got a big question mark about the 560.
Oh, it's totally fake. It's off a roll.
It's got to
Question is, it
be
didn't happen.
full garbage.
They somebody picked it up after it stopped rolling or something like that.
Right.
That's the only reason. That no one takes that seriously.
You're
on a
telling
fly.
me in 1927, a guy with like a bat and who was probably like madly hungover from the night before hits the furthest home run
Well,
with
all
no
that-
technology?
Well, that part's
I
true.
mean, maybe he had a couple beers pregame and might have helped.
It's all the extra testosterone that he was running through, and you found that out later on in the years. But I think the other part of it is, Matt, that with all the numbers and the analytics, I think my biggest issue is, can we not come correct when it's a 419-foot home run? It's a 420-foot home run. When Christian Yelich in Denver last year hits a 499-foot home run
come
at
on.
Coors
Give
Stadium
us
into
one
the
more.
third
Just
deck.
round it up.
What are we doing here? It's 500 feet. Let's figure it out. Let's at least do that, because
Do you want to
we
be
can't
accurate,
compete with
or
these
do you
guys.
want to be fun? Like, those are the
Right.
questions we're
There's
asking.
got to be a balance between both. There's got to be a balance.
That's a
between
couple
both.
of
Brett
feet
Favre,
amongst
the night
friends.
after his dad died, 4 touchdowns, 399 yards. Are you
Right.
kidding me?
Yeah, it's outrageous.
Come on, man.
That's where you tell the stats and info guy, hey, go find me another yard, and we're going to submit this for a stat correction. We're figuring out how to make sure one of these 28-yard gains a 29-yarder.
Coach Sherman, why didn't we get this paperwork filed? Jeez.
He was too busy figuring out how to apply for another job on Indeed.com after the
telling
next
that
couple of years.
Donatello play to run on 4th and 26.
Marty in Madison said, my wife saw Titanic 8 times in theaters.
That is a literal day spent in theaters. That is 24 hours spent in a theater.
And the only guy I know that does that is Matt Miller.
is sitting here at this microphone.
Well, when we get
Guess
back,
what I'm doing tonight? Watching 2 to 3 movies.
Let's go.
you're not going to follow this gambling, so we'll get your opinions on that after the break.
Hold on. You're telling me gambling is starting to go sideways right now in professional sports?
Only a little bit.
Right, bro.
Has something to do with Mr. Big Shot. We'll talk about that on the other side. Matt Miller stays with us. It's No BS on the Game.
When the wave broke over the railing, and every man knew as the captain did too, 'twas the witch of November come stealing.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1975.
In September, the Isley Brothers have a #1 album, The Heat Is On, driven by the #4 single, Fight the Power. Alive is a 2-record live album that goes to #9 for Kiss. They released the single Rock and Roll All Night, which goes to #12. David Bowie switches to Philly Soul on the LP Young Americans, featuring the #1 single Fame, which was co-written by John Lennon. UK rock band Foghat have a top 20 hit with Slow Ride from the album Fool for the City. In October of 75, Pink Floyd released their follow-up to Dark Side of the Moon. Wish You Were Here goes to number 1 in the US and the UK.
Have we found the same old fears? Wish you were here.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1974.
All the band on the run. Band on the run.
In January of 1974, the top-selling album of the year is released, Paul McCartney and Wings' Band on the Run. Bob Dylan, backed by the band, has his first number 1 album with Planet Waves. In February, Jersey City's Kool and the Gang have a top 5 hit with Jungle Boogie. New York City's Kiss released their debut, which sells 75,000 copies without a hit single. In March of 74, Canadian band Rush released their debut album, Get a New Drummer, and go on their first U.S. tour. David Essex has the first of many top 10 hits in the UK and his only U.S. hit with the single Rock On, which goes to number 5. And Steely Dan hit the top 5 with the single Ricky Don't Lose That Number and have a top 10 album too with Pretzel Logic.
Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you want. You might use it if you feel better. When you get home.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1971.
The Doors released their 6th and final studio album, LA Woman, while Paul McCartney releases his second solo album, Ram, which goes to number 1 UK and number 2 US. The album includes several jibes at John Lennon and the number 1 single, Uncle Albert Admiral Halsey. In May of 71, soul singer Marvin Gaye releases his concept album What's Going On and has 3 top 10 singles. And Rod Stewart's third solo album goes number 1 and has a number 1 single, Maggie May.
Maggie, I wish I'd never seen your face.
In July of 71, The Who releases Who's Next. It tops the charts in the UK and goes to number 4 in the US.
Teenage wasteland, oh yeah. Teenage wasteland.
The Allman Brothers released their breakthrough live double album at Fillmore East. And in August, the concert for Bangladesh, organized by George Harrison and Ravi Shankar, is held in New York City. In addition to the organizers, Eric Clapton, Bob Dylan, Badfinger, Leon Russell, and Billy Preston appear.
Feel my guitar gently weep.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1971. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to get some insight on his latest release, Rocket Science.
It's a guitar-based record for sure, and I love big hooks, and not a country record at all. It's a rock and roll record, but it does have some country elements.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists.
iHeartRadio soundtrack flashback.
The Titanic may have sunk, but the movie rose to be one of the biggest films of all time. Its soundtrack by James Horner was all we were talking about in 1997. Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On was our jam, selling over 18 million copies.
For more great movie soundtrack hits, check out Popcorn Radio on the iHeartRadio app.
I've been cheated by you since I don't know when.
Hanging out on the game, Billy and Sarian with you statewide, no BS. You can find it on 1070 The Game in Madison on the iHeart Audio app by just looking up 1070 The Game. Also 97.3 The Game on the iHeart Radio app. You'll find it there as well as up in Rhinelander. What's good, Hodags? Hang out with us at 877-794-1973, like Matt Miller is doing right now at A Man About Film online, where you can find that information. Guys, just to wrap up our Titanic conversation on the other side before.
Just to let it sink finally on its own accord. Yeah. Oh, I didn't mean to.
Also, what?
Great dad joke.
Could have been playing SOS.
Yeah, I kind of thought we were coming back with maybe some Celine, but that works out. I did wonder.
No, commercial break did that for us.
You got a splash sound effect? Yeah, Billy.
Titanic. You had
Does the Coldplay moment now take over as like the guy holding the woman pose as Titanic has for so long out on the pier?
Great question.
Or is it now the Coldplay one that
I think the Titanic pose will always be, because I mean, look how fast we moved on from that story.
That's true. News cycle's pretty quick.
Whereas the
nowadays.
Titanic thing is ingrained in the cultural thought. Like even people who haven't seen Titanic know, I'm flying, Jack, and I'm king of the world. Like that. These are things that that before the internet, before we cycled through things every 48 hours, these things had time to like really marinate into the culture and into the collective knowledge.
Yeah,
because
that's really hard to find. I mean, people right now are talking about like why aren't movies performing, like why are certain movies not doing as well as they used to? And part of it, there's many reasons why, but part of it is people just are not aware that movies are out.
That's fair.
That's
people,
not entertainment anymore.
People dunked on Wicked and Barbie for how hard they went in their marketing campaigns and stuff like that. You have to now, because if you're going to spend $200-300 million on a movie, you need a bunch of people to go see that movie. And people do people know that the Bruce Springsteen movie is coming out this weekend?
I did not know that it was coming.
If I wouldn't have watched football the other week, I would have never seen the promo.
If I wasn't friends with Drew and KB, I wouldn't.
I think you really, I think you really need to start like stapling the release date for your movie onto like the title of the film, because if people don't know when the movie's like, if someone like me who obsesses over movies is like, holy crap, Springsteen's coming out this weekend, how is that like already happening? You've kind of screwed up.
Ironically, I only am aware of it because it was the dude from The Bear that's playing him, and that's a Netflix show that my wife loved. So Netflix brought her to that movie, or like the awareness of the movie, at least. I'm not sure if you're going to see it, you know what I mean? But
yeah, and I mean, I've heard okay things about it. It doesn't sound like it's quite as good as the Dylan movie last year, which was surprisingly really good. And as I've said multiple times on this air, I hate the director of the Springsteen movie.
I like that.
He has exclusively made movies that I've walked out of being like, that was a waste of my time.
Yeah.
So expectation will be quite low.
One of these times he's going to make a good movie. He's not an untalented guy. His name's Scott Cooper. He's made stuff that like every time I'm like, that's a really interesting idea for a movie. I'm really excited to see this. And then I see it. I'm like, this is the least interesting way you could have gone about doing anything, my guy.
Did he come up with the award-winning movie that got brought up before you got in here earlier today, Cocaine Bear?
He did not have anything to do with the major motion picture, Cocaine Bear.
Major.
It was major. It was out.
It made money. Like we're talking about like movies need to get awareness. That movie effectively got awareness. That movie has made a lot more than most movies have come out this year.
But you're spot on the marketing campaign, and I don't mean to just like group all entertainment together, but like you think about it as well. For somebody that didn't watch Game of Thrones, right? TV to movie.
So you haven't seen Titanic. You didn't watch Game of Thrones. Billy, what do you watch? Answer sports.
I watched a lot of sports and a lot of like
understandable
2010 Seth Rogen and Will Ferrell movies. There's something correlating with all those
fair.
things.
Hollywood lost you as an audience member. This is what I talk about when they stopped making comedies, they lost people like Billy.
When Dr. Rick Marshall stopped checking out the person's ankle. Let's take a look at that ankle in Land of the Lost. I was out. All right. That wasn't nearly as funny.
Land of the Lost was the reason why you stopped going.
That was the one.
Such a good movie though. But in the whole vein of it, like the Game of Thrones end, they were on absolutely everything. And then the numbers come through. If you don't blow out all of the money possible on not only the production, but on the advertising, you are going to go away as quickly as possible because it's difficult to be able to grab people's attention, not only attention, but then lock into the short-term memory, which seems to be going the way of Dory.
We are a more passive audience in a lot of cases in terms of the answer. I mean, look at how we approach the streaming services. All these things at a click of the finger. And most of the time we go on there and watch the same show we've already binge watched 5 times before. We would go to our comfort foods.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Netflix adds like 10 new movies every single week.
But still haven't. But
we don't check them out because we're like, I don't know, like how much do I want to like engage in something tonight after a long day at work? I just want to watch, 30 Rock again or something.
Right.
Like
We're
that.
programmed to have a comfort food show that's shorter and less I mean, we don't want to have to think sometimes. We have
Yeah, I mean, that's how I am when it comes to TV shows. Like,
Me too.
honestly, like when I'm putting my brain on, like it is to watch a movie. And when
Right.
it comes to TV, I'm very happy to watch like dumb cooking shows.
Yeah,
And-
just things you can veg out and not veg
Yeah,
out.
I
but,
mean,
like,
Guys, grocery games.
yeah,
Or YouTube videos of
me and Guy Fieri don't see eye to eye on things.
YouTube videos of guys making
Trash
sandwiches.
can nachos, I think, are kind of more just trash.
Yeah, if his food was better, he's kind of like Michael Bay, where it's like I appreciate the kind of trash that you're making.
Yes.
Can it
I
be,
see you.
Can it be
Could
a little better?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. You see Guy Fieri all over Las Vegas.
Everywhere. He's got all kinds of
Everywhere.
restaurants.
He's one of the most Las Vegas Americans we've got, though. Like if I
100%.
looked at Guy Fieri and knew nothing about him, if I was an alien, I'd
Sure.
be like, "That's Las Vegas."
Yeah, and that's why Bobby Flay, like the Bobby Flay Burgers place, it's good burger, Bobby.
It's
I
not about the
appreciate it.
burger, though.
It's not Vegas. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, I think your spot.
Flames, excitement.
Yeah,
like,
you're probably better off in like I don't know, San Francisco or something, or Los Angeles, or maybe Denver. It maybe fits a little bit.
It's really weird that there's like 17 shows on the Food Network that are like, "This is Bobby Flay. You want to beat this guy," and it's just like,
Like he comes in and demoralizes you.
his agent must just go into Food Network and it's just like, so I represent Bobby Flay, and I think people are going to cook against him and try to beat him.
Yeah, him or
And the
Gordon.
CEO of the Food Network's like, didn't you just say that last week? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And they're like, okay, here's $1 million. Make your
More
TV
of
show.
it.
Because we're
Yeah.
gonna get view. It's him or Gordon. I mean, Gordon
Defeat
Ramsay's
Bobby Flay is completely different from beat Bobby Flay.
I do just hate that model. My wife was all into the show for a number of different months. And I'm like, this is so sad. He walks into an establishment and says, "You have a great family diner. You make it a tremendous
I want to
meatball sub.
defeat it.
I'm going to show you that you don't know anything about making a meatball sub."
Right.
Right?
Come on.
He comes in and
Just
it's
let
just like,
them have it.
you have these beautiful family traditions. I want to pee all over
All
them.
over
I
it.
want to make you feel like your family wasted their time.
I'm Bobby Flay, damn it. I'm going to show you how you make a pastrami sandwich.
We brought up Netflix. I watched the Montreal Expos documentary last
I can't
night.
wait for that. Is it good?
Killed the Montreal Expos. It's a very standard sports documentary, but it's such a fascinating story, especially if you were a kid like me who grew up like kind of loving the Expos, because there was no team in baseball like the Expos.
You're a very unique team.
Between the French and the weird logo.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it. I feel sad. I feel sad that the Expos are gone. It reminds you of a different era of sports watching.
It'll
that.
keep a little bit of hole in the heart there, but it's a great time to celebrate baseball in Canada. Watch it this
Absolutely.
week. No doubt about it. Matt, always
Go the
appreciate it,
Wiley
brother.
North.
Yeah, no doubt. And beat the hell out of LA. Matt Miller's been hanging out with us. There's no BS on the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1971.
February, 4 months after her death, Janis Joplin's album Pearl is released and goes to #1. The single Me and Bobby McGee also tops the chart. Bill Withers hits #3 with the single Ain't No Sunshine from his debut album produced by Booker T. Jones. In March of '71, Carole King releases her first solo album and scores 2 #1 singles, I Feel the Earth Move and It's Too Late. And UK progressive rockers Jethro Tull have a top 10 album on both sides of the Atlantic with Aqua Lungs.
Running down his nose. Greasy fingers smearing shabby clothes. Hey, Aqualung.
In April, the Temptations topped the charts with Just My Imagination, their third #1 and their 13th top 10 single. Three Dog Night have their second #1 single with Joy to the World. And the Rolling Stones album Sticky Fingers is released, including the #1 single Brown Sugar.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1971. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1968.
Born to be wild.
In January of 1968, Steppenwolf released their debut album, including the single Born to be Wild, which charts at #2 in the U.S. Johnny Cash records 2 live shows at California's Folsom Prison, along with June Carter and Carl Perkins. Also in January, the Beatles are #1 with Hello Goodbye. In London, they launched their own company, Applecore, with a store, a recording studio, and record label. February of 68, Pink Floyd lead singer Syd Barrett is checked into a psychiatric hospital and the band replaces him with David Gilmour. The Beatles, Donovan, Mia Farrow, and others travel to India to study transcendental meditation with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And Bill Graham opens the Fillmore East concert venue in an abandoned New York City theater. April of 1968, the musical Hair opens on Broadway for the first of 1,750 performances. It would spawn several top 40 hits, including Aquarius, Good Morning Starshine, and Hair. Simon and Garfunkel released their album Bookends, which goes to #1 in the US and the UK. The single Mrs. Robinson would go to #1 in June, thanks to the movie The Graduate.
God bless you, please, Mrs. Robinson. Heaven holds a place for those who pray. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1968, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
Van Morrison, formerly of the band Them, has a number 10 hit as a solo artist with Brown Eyed Girl. In July, LA band The Grassroots scored their first top 10 hit with Let's Live for Today. And UK supergroup Cream, featuring guitarist Eric Clapton, toured the US for the first time.
In the sunshine of your love.
And in September, Janis Joplin's band Big Brother and the Holding Company signed with Columbia Records and released their debut album. October of 67, Memphis band The Box Tops, including 17-year-old gravel voice singer Alex Chilton, have a #1 hit with The Letter.
Yeah, ticket for an aeroplane. Ain't got time to take a fast train. Lonely days are gone, I'm a going home. My baby used to whip me a leather. My baby used to whip me a leather.
And in November, the first issue of Rolling Stone magazine is published in San Francisco, featuring an interview with John Lennon. The Who have their first and only U.S. top 10 hit with I Can See for Miles. In December, they smashed their instruments on the Smothers Brothers TV show.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967, coming up. iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Elton John to talk about performing live.
Going on stage was when I could show off and be comfortable. And you know, I was always a bit timid off stage. And the stage gave me an outlet. And you'll find that with many performers, whether they be dancers, actors, singers, musicians. They have the outlet on stage to become the person they're not off stage. And I think that's what eventually led to my troubles, along with the drugs and the drink, is that the person who was fast becoming popular as Elton John and becoming, you know, the #1 rock star in the world, had kind of escaped from the person off stage, and the balance was completely off kilter. And the more I became successful, the harder I worked, and the less time I concentrated on being normal or trying to be kind of normal. But people who knew me privately were shocked, I think, at what I was doing off stage. Rather, you know, they knew what I was going to do on stage, but off stage they were shocked and disappointed.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists.
The Packers play here.
Does it in style.
WRNW FM Milwaukee 97.3 The Game.
You know that it would be untrue. You know that I would be a liar if I was to say to you, girl, we couldn't get much higher.
No BS on the game. Get much higher as they bring us back here on the radio waves on 1070 The Game in Madison. Also streaming live on YouTube and X, the iHeartRadio app. Armin, we got another one as we get the press conference coming up here now. The story of the morning as the NBA opened up on Tuesday night with a debut of a brand new broadcast partner and a phenomenal start to the NBA season. Double overtime game to kick off the NBA season. Last night, Victor Wembanyama, maybe the league's brightest new star, goes off for 40 and 15 and was just a freak of absolute nature last night for the San Antonio Spurs. We wake up this morning and point guard Terry Rozier of the Miami Heat, head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, Chauncey Billups, and now former NBA player and former Milwaukee Buck, Damon Jones. being arrested, courtesy of NBC or ABC with the Damon Jones story that he is being a part of it. That former NBA player and coach Damon Jones was also charged in an illegal gambling case per ABC News as it continues to develop. The FBI and the coolest name that we are finding out here today, Kash Patel, FBI director, is about to announce all of the findings coming up here within the next couple of minutes, and who is all involved. They said there was going to be 6 individuals, not yet known if this is in connection, that was all tipped off and started with the Jontay Porter deal a year ago. I think, inquiring and inquisitive minds could surmise the fact that that was probably the case, that it has something to do with.
Well, that's the thought, yeah.
The Malik Beasley fate you're anticipating hearing here coming up. The poker games is why Chauncey Billups, the head coach, goes down, not a sports gambling case. However, Armin, in a world of first initial reactions
perceptions,
and thought, the first look at this is all going to be, holy cow, the NBA has got a gambling problem.
Absolutely.
It is vast.
And then perception's reality. Now, the Damon Jones deal was, the inside information about NBA games to co-defendants who use it to place legal sports bets. So I think a lot of times the assumption right away is going to be that the Jontay Porter thing, inside information, they were taking their own games. It sounds like Chauncey wasn't any of these. It was just poker. However, if it was mafia tied, if it was all through the mafia, was there a relationship there? That part of it is interesting because, as you said, perception is reality, and right away he's lumped into the other NBA players that are arrested this morning for this gambling situation, even though his might not have been on the actual games, which has it's not different in that he's still in trouble, but it has a difference in the story.
It's definitely different to the story. That's for sure. Yeah.
What it means for leagues and what it means for what he did and the integrity of the games and integrity of what he did. So that part's pretty interesting. Talking to our buddy Trey, obviously he's been on this air a lot, doing shows. Trey's also, he's a lawyer as well. Thinks it's interesting the government decided to put all at once. He's tweeting, wonder if this is retribution for NBA teams not visiting the White House after titles. Everything's political. I didn't think about that angle of it, Billy. It obviously gets into some deeper levels of stuff that maybe politically
I had not thought about it that way. No.
But who knows? I mean, it is interesting from a legal perspective what all is involved there. I know someone else had feds arrest on Thursdays because there are no arraignments on Fridays. They'll spend the weekend in jail, become cooperating witnesses by Monday. So there's a lot of that aspect, a lot of stuff that, I didn't go to law school, so I wasn't aware of maybe some of these things.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to see if there are deeper cuts to it or undercurrents to the story.
As Pete Thamel of ESPN just put out, press conference is about to start. The title online says, quote, more than 30 defendants charged in illegal gambling schemes. FBI director is set to speak. He said nothing subtle about this. So maybe there's more to it. Maybe there is not. I anticipate if there's any other notable arrests, we would have found out or heard about them at this moment. Right now, it's Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, former NBA player and former Milwaukee Buck.
Damon Jones, yeah.
Not necessarily the greatest run in Bucks history in 03-04, but hey, he was on the squad.
Right, he was. And they use a nice picture of him in a suit now. Poor Terry Rozier and poor Heat, Miami Heat. They got the picture of him in the Heat jersey.
He's in his Heat jersey right now. And
even though he was with like the Celtics, the Hornets, maybe somebody else, but they got him in the Heat jersey.
Yeah, they're definitely painting all the individuals. We have a CNN on in the studios in a number of different lights because they had Terry Rozier in the 3-panel side-by-side view of the hand on the heads in a surrender cobra pose. Then they had Chauncey Billups looking rather confounded on the sidelines as a Portland Trailblazers coach and also with some kind of wrist wrap. And then my man Damon Jones gets the NBA Larry O'Brien logo on the Cavs jersey. Yeah. Armin, could be a lot worse look for Damon Jones, letting everybody remember, like, hey, I was on a team that went to the title.
Hey, he's getting the good AP stock photos. He's getting that good.
Yeah, Getty Images is helping him out today.
Yeah, the Getty Images.
It's all about how you come across.
Yeah, it is. It's how it comes across. And a lot of interesting angles to this, Billy, as you know. So what will the NBA's response be? They weren't aware of any of this going down, was the story. So I'm sure they're not feeling very good at headquarters right now. NBA headquarters. Adam Silver's got a lot of work to do. Yes, and Damon Jones was an assistant coach.
It is
yeah.
fascinating though too. Like again, I was just watching Adam Silver earlier this week as the league tipped off its season with a conversation talking about how he would hope and does hope for at some particular point in time further restrictions on what can be legally invested upon and gambled on in pro sports, and especially in his league in the NBA, whether it's certain individual player props that could be taken down and minimized as to how much it would be, just because of the temptation for players that, you know, definitely are not as financially secure as others. Now, let's call it what it is. Terry Rozier made $25 million a year at one point.
Yeah, a lot of money. A lot of these guys made. I mean,
I'm fascinated to know.
Yeah.
Chauncey Billups, Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Right, you said $107 million. You said in career earnings.
Career earnings and playing. He also was a coach, obviously making money.
Just think of the financial benefits that were coming their way to be a part of this. Right, like if that's already your pay scale,
then you're making some good money, right?
You're doing some either really good money in additional financial compensation, or
you were in debt to some.
You're that in debt.
Yeah. Wow.
Making that kind of money that you got to make these kinds of decisions and risk not only, I mean, you know, for Rozier, his entire livelihood and career, Chauncey Billups, your entire reputation as a Hall of Famer in the basketball realm, 25 plus year NBA career.
It's a great legacy that he's putting in jeopardy right now. Right.
Like that's a tough spot just from a personal standpoint. And again, I understand that there's dehumanization that happens in a lot of different regards in a lot of different spaces. When you make 7 digits, when a lot of us listening and talking are scrapping on 5 and trying to figure out how on earth you actually get to 6 digits, man, $100,000.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that? And to think how easily that's just thrown around in this one. Like, I get it's hard to have a whole lot of personal, let's say grace.
Yeah, and I think that's how most
in the situation.
That's how most. I don't say regular people. Like that's how most everyday people listening to us right now,
and you're
not watching this story, will look at it. Like these dudes had this much money and it put themselves at risk. That's pure stupidity. Most people are going to say that.
100%, and I don't fault you for that. I also
disagree
because I don't disagree, but I also look at it as a bit sad. Right, like there's obviously a problem that has gotten close enough and has got you running this close to the sun that you have put in this much in jeopardy and put this much in you put this much of your livelihood
vulnerable. Yeah, to be vulnerable,
to be this vulnerable to it. And JR did say they have a 31 now in custody that the FBI director is speaking at the moment, and the press conference has just gotten underway as they're discussing it. And I do appreciate that in the midst of all of it, First Take is just breaking down the Wemby performance from last night. So protect your partners as much as it comes to. I appreciate that because we get yelled at a lot on post games of what are you going to say what you want to say? Just say what you have to say. Listen, sometimes you are partners with people. And the partners at ESPN are not going to throw the NBA under the bus and have Stephen A. Smith talking all about this because, Armin, they got a doubleheader tonight with Inside the NBA starting a pregame show at 5. I don't know how much of this is going to be discussed on said pregame show, but it is a fascinating start to an NBA season. The most attention the start of an NBA season has had, maybe ever.
Oh, ever. It has to be. I think when you consider all the things that have gone on in the offseason, the first 2 games, a double overtime thriller to start, NBA and NBC coming back to revive the brand a little bit. Go back to Durant dropping names of Twitter trolls in the offseason. I mean, everything has been going on. I love AG here on the YouTube stream. And if I could just get a 1K a week take home, I'd be set. Exactly. I think
that's all I'm looking for.
I think everyone is feeling the same way.
Looking for a little extra scratch.
Our good buddy Brian Butch, of course, had the thought I had. Okay, I'm going to read his tweet. I didn't know the Mafia was still a thing. And I think a lot of us kind of thought that, wait, the Mafia is still around? Yeah. They do, but they don't exist in the form that you think of in popular media. I don't think there's underbosses. I don't think Tony Accardi is running around the street. Like, you know what I mean? Like those type of things aren't happening. But they do exist, I think, just in different form. Organized crime will always exist, but maybe not the way we think about it. But Butchie, I had the same thought.
I don't know that it's Sopranos-esque running around. However, you don't necessarily know. Terry Rozier's lawyer has given a statement to Pablo Torre, who
So he's beating Shams
really
this
on all
morning.
of it.
I mean, let's
Pablo's Iron
that
Man.
side of it. Pablo Torre won today. Over Shams did okay, but like Pablo Torre's the one right now.
James is just reading any other content that he's getting.
Yeah,
Pablo's the one.
Pablo's
breaking
actually
some of this
creating
stuff.
and breaking it.
He had some of this in June. Going back
Big
into it
ups.
when he's bringing his
Big
receipts.
ups to Pablo Torre, who's the journalist of our time.
This
it
is
seems like.
interesting that Rozier's attorney Jim Trusty had said.
Jim who?
Jim Trusty.
How ironic.
Listen, when you're a defense attorney, you got to have some trust.
Well,
we have represented Terry Rozier for over a year. A long time ago, we reached out to these prosecutors to tell them that we should have an open line of communication. They characterized Terry as a subject, not a target. But at 6 a.m. this morning, they called to tell me FBI agents were trying to arrest him in a hotel. It is unfortunate that instead of allowing him to self-surrender, they opted for a photo op. They wanted the misplaced glory of embarrassing a professional athlete with a perp walk. That tells you about the motivations in this case.
Well,
they appear to be taking the word of incredible sources rather than relying on actual evidence of wrongdoing. Terry was cleared by the NBA, and these prosecutors revived that non-case. Terry is not a gambler, but he is not afraid of a fight, and he looks forward to winning this fight.
Well, that's the interesting part of it. Sorry to jump on you there, Billy. It did a little early, but I read the tweet from Trey. It is interesting that there are some that believe that there is a part of that here, a little showmanship maybe by that, trying to hold up a trophy, have the press conference, say we got one. Maybe there is something to that. It's a world I don't know much about, but I suppose it's absolutely possible.
They're going to the CNN one right now. Do we want to take some of this? Sure. You want to take a little bit?
Well,
Let's take a little bit of this live here at the podium.
Chief of Detectives Joseph Kenny, and the Executive Director of the Waterfront Commission, Phoebe Sorrell. I'm now going to turn the podium over to FBI Director Kash Patel.
Our guy Kash Patel.
Man.
Awesome jacket.
Good morning. Today we are here in New York
Yeah, it is fun.
to announce a historic arrest across a wide
Twice in 2
sweeping
months.
criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Casa Nostra. The men and women up here standing with me represent a small portion of the leadership team that brought profound justice in an era that needed it more than any. I'll just highlight some of the details in the case and the FBI work, and then you'll hear from the others. But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today, former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchesi crime families. And you'll hear more about those details today. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. This FBI will leave no room for any perpetrator of crime across this country. You hear a lot about our work of defending the homeland and crushing violent crime. Well, this work is also representative of a colossal portion of the FBI's mandate to keep America safe and to keep our entertainment industry fair and secure. The men and women that are standing up here today worked tireless hours, days, months, and years. And the fraud is mind-boggling. It's not hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery across a multi-year investigation. And we could not have done it without our interagency partners that are before us today. The NYPD, HSI, and teams of law enforcement officials from around the country made this day possible. It takes a team to bring this kind of justice, sweeping justice, into the halls of the United States courtrooms, where our brave United States attorney has led this prosecution. It takes courageous prosecutors to stand before you and say, we will not allow this kind of illicit activity to happen, not only at the national sporting level, but also where it hides in La Cosa Nostra. And when these two collided together, they perpetrated a fraud that is historic in terms of not just money, but the scheme and the deceit that they utilize to steal and swindle people from money, to include crypto fraud. This is an operation that showcases to you that under President Trump's administration, there is no room for any type of criminal behavior, be it on the world's largest stage or in the back rooms of tiny parlors where card games are being played. We are proud to stand here today with the men and women of the FBI and this legal team. And to the United States Attorney, I just want to thank you personally for taking the time to display the work that the media is about to hear about today in detail. As I said, it does take courageous prosecutors, but it takes a courageous United States Attorney to bring this case, because we are going to take heat for it. But we don't shy away in this administration. We don't say no. What we do is we bring the results across the finish line. We bring them to the public. We bring you accountability. And yes, they will have their day in court, and you will hear the evidence through the court system exclusively. We will not deny anyone of due process. And that's the brilliance of this system. That's the brilliance of this administration. Everyone will be held to account. So with that, I turn it over to United States Attorney Nosal. Thank you.
That is Kash Patel, FBI director, announcing the arrests of 30 different individuals across 11 states with a gambling probe involved and not limited to, but emanating in and being prominent in the National Basketball Association, current player, a former player, former coach, and current NBA coach, all taken down and arrested here today. Chauncey Billups, the current NBA coach, current head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, probably not tomorrow night.
No, I don't think so. I think he's going to have to miss that one.
Potentially going to be on an interim basis. Is Terry Stotts going to be available?
That was my next guess.
He's got to be available. Terry's always available to help out. I don't think Terry was. Actually, I don't want to make any assumptions, because I assume that I watch a lot of mafia documentaries, guys, in the history and stuff like that. I didn't think I'd hear La Cosa Nostra's like.
Yeah, you had a big reaction when the names of the families were brought out. So those are big time prominent names in the mafia department, is what you're saying?
Yeah, New York region. Yeah,
it's the New York crime family. La Cosa Nostra is like the Italian term for the Italian mafia, the Sicilian mafia, and it means something, but it's basically the name for the mafia and the families that make up the New York crime. He mentioned them. Lucchese, Gambino, not Gambino.
Oh, he called them all out.
I couldn't believe it. Like, man, they're still doing their thing like that. Not that I'm not romanticizing it. I just didn't realize it. But this was a big deal, apparently, the way Kash is telling it. And, representing the administration, all that stuff.
Allegedly, 3 of the 5 families are involved.
Yeah, the Lucchese's, right? I was like, this is a bigger thing than I thought it was.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And that was the thing. Like, we were learning a lot of this all this morning. And like Justin Nia said, thanks for carrying that press conference, guys. Wow, I did not have FBI arresting NBA players and coaches on gambling-related charges on my bingo card when I woke up.
We didn't do that in the pre-show meeting either.
We didn't plan on taking a CNN presser live either. This was not like fun. It is fun. This is kind of out of format for us. Yeah. But everything's kind of up in the air these days anyway. So
Yeah, 100%. It's all up in the air anyway.
Yeah,
that might be good tape for us to be able to show the folks down the hall.
There you go. We can do it all.
We go into news if necessary.
Man,
not so much CNN though.
Can I do the? That's fair. Can I do the joke that everybody in the comments section has been waiting for here?
Please do.
Please.
On the other side, we'll go to the Potawatomi Sportsbook, where we'll bet big, bet bold, and bet above the rest. After listening to 31 defendants in a nationwide scheme to rig poker games, as well as potential results in basketball games, fascinated to see how that gets put down into paper. Because I got to see how that proof goes into it. Rigging poker games, I definitely know how. I think I got an idea of the basketball one. I'm excited to see how that rolls in. But seeing the board and seeing games pretty clearly, being good at prognosticating what's playing out, parlay of the day, it's pretty necessary. And it started with a bang last night as the Bucs season begins. We hit the parlay of the day. We head back to the Potawatomi Sportsbook next. It's no BS on the game.
Hey guys, let me tell you about my new obsession, Daisy French onion dip. One of my guilty pleasures during football season and, watching guys get in trouble these days in sports is eating dips with chips, wings, and veggies while watching the big game or the big trial. And now Daisy came out with a delicious Daisy French onion dip and a Daisy ranch dip, and they are game changers. They were delicious as a homemade dip, and they're made with real herbs, spices, and other ingredients you find in your own kitchen. So why don't you give Daisy French onion dip a try when you're watching the next Blazers game? Because you don't know who the coach is going to be. Look for Daisy French onion dip at a grocery store near you.
After a successful home opener in a 5-3 win over Texas, Milwaukee hits the road as they travel to San Jose for the first time since 2017. Into the slot, he'll find Thompson. Left circle, shoots. Save made. Rebound score. Pre-game on Friday at 8:30. Face-off at 9 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
September of 77, American duo Steely Dan released their sixth album, Asia. It goes to number 3 in the States on the strength of 2 top 20 hits, Peg and Deacon Blues. In October, the major label debut album by Meatloaf is released, hits number 14 in the U.S., and goes on to be one of the best-selling albums of all time. Leonard Skinner released the album Street Survivor. 3 days later, singer Ronnie Van Zant and 2 other band members are killed in a plane crash. The album goes to number 5 in the States, and the single What's Your Name hits number 13.
What's your name, little girl? What's your name?
In November, Eric Clapton's Slow Hand is released. It goes to number 2, driven by 3 hit singles, Cocaine, Wonderful Tonight, and Lay Down Sally.
Lay down, Sally, and rest you in my arms. Don't you think you want someone to talk to?
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1970.
Don't keep me waiting here. Leave me to
The Beatles released the Phil Spector-produced album Let It Be. It generates 3 number 1 hits, Get Back, Let It Be, and their final number 1, The Long and Winding Road. The Kinks song Lola, about a romantic encounter with a transvestite, makes number 2 UK and number 9 US. In July, the Stooges released their second album on Elektra Records, Fun House. And British band Mungo Jerry are number 1 in the UK, number 3 in the US with the single In the Summertime.
have a drink, have a drive. Go out and see what you can find.
In August, Eric Clapton releases his first solo album and scores a top 20 hit with his cover of J.J. Cale's After Midnight. Neil Diamond scores his first number 1 with Cracklin' Rosie. September of 1970, Neil Young has a top 10 album with After the Gold Rush. War, an anti-war protest song by Edwin Starr, tops the charts.
What is it good for? You tell me. Say it.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1970. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1968.
California's Creedence Clearwater Revival released their debut LP, which contains the number 11 single Susie Q. And in August, American band Tommy James and the Shondells have a number 1 hit in the UK with Moni Moni. It goes to number 8 in the US. And the Doors have their first number 1 album and their second and last number 1 single with Hello, I Love You.
When she moves, my brain screams out this song.
In November of 68, Van Morrison releases his second solo album, Astral Weeks, and Joe Cocker has a UK number 1 with his cover of the Beatles with A Little Help from My Friends.
Don't you know I'm gonna make you with my friends?
And in December, Motown holds the top spot with number 1 hits from Marvin Gaye, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, and the Supremes with Love Child. The Beatles released their first single on their own Apple label, Hey Jude, backed with Revolution. The over 7-minute song went to number 1 in the US and the UK.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1968. Coming up.
Classic Cuts.
Artists often find inspiration for songs in odd places. For Steve Miller, the idea for The Joker came to him on the hood of a car during a moonlit party.
The thing I think about The Joker was that was my first #1 hit single. I was at a party. It was about midnight. I was on the hood of a car. I had little parts and pieces of it and was working on it. It was kind of a full moon. It was a pretty funny kind of night. And it all came together that night and recorded it a few weeks later.
You know those lines about peaches and trees? He borrowed those from a 1953 song called Lovey Dovey by the Clovers.
Lovey-dovey, lovey-dovey, lovey-dovey all the time. Ooh, baby, I sure show you a good time. 'Cause I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do when Sheriff John Brown come for you?
You heard Cash Patel say, they're gonna find you. Bad boys better watch out. They're gonna find you. Historic arrest, they're calling it, over years of sports rigging. FBI chief Cash Patel said and announced the arrest of 30 different individuals across a couple of rather prominent organized crime families in the northeastern area, including 3 individuals, prominent figures in the NBA sphere of Damon Jones, former Buck, a longtime NBA player and former coach with the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2016 to 2018, the most recent time he was part of the NBA, and then now an acting head coach in the league. Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups, all arrested here today. NBA-related gambling involves tens of millions of dollars. Now we're going to have to figure out how much of this is actually tied into how many different NBA games and how much of this is actually tied to just 3 guys that were associated with the NBA. Armin, that's going to be the tag here. That is going to be interesting to see over the next 48 to 72 hours.
Very.
And then into the next, 4 or 8 years, how this plays out in the court of law. But right now, the immediate reaction, holy cow, dude. Guys are fixing games. We don't necessarily know that that's the case here.
We don't. And this has become
and
something.
It could be far from it. However,
much bigger than just Jonte Porter taking the under. You know what I mean?
A lot different because these guys are actual people that we know of. Not there was something called Jonte Porter in the NBA. I was just finding that out now, right? Like that. This is a little different than that case. Although it might all be somewhat connected.
It might be, and that's part of it. This is a larger network of operation, things like that. So it's just part of it. But I think it's a lot different than, like you said, like and that was Rozier's lawyer, right? That said, look, the NBA investigated this. There's nothing here, things like that. He's not a criminal. They just took a chance to try and raise a flag on him. I don't know. It just seems like a lot more complicated when you start dealing with the FBI and things like that. It's a totally different deal, Billy. So quite the interesting story to have pop up, and something I think that probably made Adam Silver lose his appetite for lunch today as he's walking into the office.
Yeah, this is definitely something different.
Think
this
that,
changes it up a little bit.
Don't think it's what he really wanted to see in this situation.
According to Brett Siegel, who covers the NBA for Clutch Points, he put out a couple of different pieces of the press conference that's going on right now, said that the FBI says 6 individuals are involved in an illegal sports gambling scheme. 31 defendants participated in a high-tech cheating scandal to steal millions from underground poker games. 4 teams came up in the illegal sports gambling investigation as teams who were bet on.
Interesting.
The Charlotte Hornets. Terry Rozier played for the Charlotte Hornets.
Well, Pat's there to clean it up.
It's true.
Pat C.
He made
Let's
the team.
Pat. Let's go, Pat. Let's go, Patty. Come on.
The Los Angeles Lakers.
Whoa.
Okay.
The Toronto Raptors and, shockingly enough, the Portland Trailblazers.
Interesting with the Raptors, too. You talk about country, international incident now, not state lines, country lines, and international lines of different countries. So don't know how that would affect anything. I mean, I guess it's all going to be a deep network and a very complicated situation now. But 30 people arrested as part of a years-long investigation covering 11 states. Now, the 30 people arrested, there's no indication that any of those other guys are athletes or coaches, right? We just got
and I think we would have gotten
known
that
that by
in
now.
that information. Siegel continued that Damon Jones and Terry Rozier's allegations into illegal sports gambling activity in the NBA include providing inside information about NBA players and teams related to prop bets between 2022 and 2024. So again, there's still nothing that they stated or have tied directly to information that Billups was putting out into the or like the place things that Billups was placing investments on, anything of that nature. He is not involved in the sports side of the things, at least to this point.
It's the
poker ring that he would be associated with, which again, just fascinating. I makes me really love the fact that we know everything is on the up and up because we go to good establishments, local establishments, ones that are the most trustworthy of gaming institutions as you can find.
Beyond reproach, integrity-wise, yeah.
Not only elite dining.
Great time.
Luddy saw the burger that I had this weekend.
Dude, I've been meaning to ask you.
Piggybacker burger at the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
That looks good.
One of the absolute game-changing sandwiches that you could have. Luddy had a crispy chicken sandwich that was clucking at me.
Uh-huh.
I was jealous.
Yeah.
Did I see the Mama's pancakes that Doug Russell had?
No, they were gone before you arrived.
Deleted
out.
Our friend Haley had a phenomenal looking chicken Caesar wrap.
Mediterranean
wrap. Thank you for the correction.
Looking delicious.
Looked tremendous. Chips, A1.
Come on now.
Anything you're getting, desserts, don't even
haven't
start.
gone there yet.
Yeah, just wait until Sunday night when we're there for Packers game day. I'll be joining Doug Russell right around 4:20 in the afternoon on Sunday.
Excellent. Getting ready for a long night, Billy. Right?
Long night
and long Monday morning.
And hopefully a Sunday of sports investing goes positively. So when I go and meet up with those boys, already into the late afternoon slate, we'll have some tickets to cash for the early games.
Yes, indeed.
But the best way to do that is with the profit from last night and hopefully more made today at the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Time now for Billy's Parlay of the Day, brought to you by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest.
Thank you, Chris Middleton. Thank you, Miles Turner.
We did cash one last night.
And thank you, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.
Speaking of cash, Kash.
Yes.
Intended, right?
No doubt about it. Our boy
Legally.
Cash. This was legal cash, though. There was
Yeah.
no online rigging of this, albeit, though, if anybody understood the assignment more than Giannis Antetokounmpo last night,
He understands.
I'd like to know.
Yeah.
Chris Middleton, over 2 threes. Armin, that was easy as 1, 2. First 2 he shot was over. Done deal. Thanks for playing, Chris Middleton. That's another one for those fans that maybe rocked the 22 jerseys last night at Fiserv Forum. There was a bunch of them. I saw a couple with the Texas A&M one.
That was the coolest one I saw.
That's a sweet touch. I love that one.
That's a deep pull.
It's a great deep cut.
I didn't see any Pistons Middleton. So
I'm stunned. I don't know that they made those.
Yeah.
Fort Wayne Mad Ants.
I don't even know his family got one of
No,
those.
I don't know that it would be the Fort Wayne Mad Ants. Well, he did play with the Pistons for a second, though, right? Yeah.
Like second. Yeah. I mean, I think he was active for about 4
they're
games.
lost.
He might have been active as men. Not going to go there.
Hey-o.
So as you look and see the board last night for 2 threes for Chris Middleton, easy as 1, 2. That's going to be cash money.
Boom.
right out of
Cash
the
money.
gates.
Yep.
Now, Miles Turner comes in highly touted for his ability to shoot from the outside.
Yeah.
Also block shots. Armin, I expected Miles Turner to want to put on a show for his first game in Bucks Green.
Yeah, he took 8 threes.
Took 8 of them.
That's all right. I mean, that's what everyone
8 of
says
them.
you're good at. You're going to do it, right?
We only needed him to knock down 2, and luckily we didn't ask for more.
Got all 2 of them.
Because 25% was all he was finding from downtown. However, did find 3 blocks last night, 8 rebounds, which is not generally, even for his 7-foot self, his jam. Not a massive rebounder as a big man, but 11 points, 8 boards, 2 threes, all 2 that we needed at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and then over 50 plus points, rebounds, assists. That special is going to get dunked on by Giannis a number of different times. Went into the fourth quarter with 39 points, rebounds, assists. And he instantly, Armin, on the first 3 possessions after checking in,
took care of
got an
business.
and one, a bucket, a rebound, and a putback. He knew exactly what he was doing. He understood the assignment and took care of the investors last night at Fiserv Forum.
Yeah, and Miles Turner plays outside a lot, right, to stretch the D. So that's why sometimes the rebound numbers aren't always there. Just trying to defend him a little bit because he's our guy now.
You're doing good. Good work right there. Hey, it's not a bad thing.
I'm
Not a bad thing.
I'm pulling a Stamos. I'm sticking up for him. You know, if I have to,
You're
John
gonna Ken
Stamos.
Palm him all season for us.
Well, maybe, yeah.
Amen to that.
That was a John Stamos,
but
Lori
I'm
Loughlin
telling you,
reference.
if you
I didn't get it,
if you protect the rim like he does at the elite level, I don't care how many boards you're grabbing.
I agree with you. No, that's totally
I don't
fine.
need to see 15
Yep.
because 14 or 13 or 14 are coming from Giannis every single night either
Yeah.
way. Bobby Portis, one of the only guys that actually factored into the box score last night, not in double figures. It was a communal effort last night outside of Giannis's 37, 11 from Turner, 17 on 5 triples from Gary Trent. Kevin Porter Jr., just 9 minutes, but 10 points, a pair from downtown, 11 from AJ Green, knocked down 3 threes, including the first points of the season for the Milwaukee Bucks.
All right, let's go.
12 from Kyle Kuzma off the bench. Like seeing Kuz coming off the
Yeah.
bench. I like that that's the plan. And then Torian Prince coming off the bench, knocked down 3 threes. Much maligned Torian Prince in the offseason. People were questioning him being brought back into the covenant. I made up for it last night. Worked out last night.
And not for a big price. I mean, you really have to look at last night. You start thinking about this team and the way Giannis said it could be dangerous. You're getting that type of shooting production around Giannis. For what John Horst put this team, the bench, the role players back together with cheese and crackers. I mean, he really didn't have that much to deal with.
That's fair.
And he put together a pretty good unit. So you have to give Horst credit for taking whatever crumbs were left and making a meal out of cheese and crackers. I like that term.
I really like that you're talking
yeah.
cheese and
I
crackers.
don't
Now,
know
if you
why
had
I
some
asked.
Daisy dips, it'd be a lot easier to make a meal out of that because you
Well,
bring those to the
Daisy
party.
dips, that's when you're living large. When you have Daisy dips,
That's
French
when you-
onion dips, all the dips you got, ranch dips.
Come
I'm,
on now.
I'm moving dips, man. I went to the grocery store. There weren't many left.
They actually said you had to watch out because they were selling too many.
I'm saying, me and Leroy Butler. All right. Anyway, now Billy, you're looking for 2 wins in a row here, right?
We're trying to go back to back. Now, yesterday's was a modest plus 540.
Now you can't
far from modest.
You're taking
over
it.
5-1.
I don't care who you are. I'm taking that. But CFL has its own tab now on the Potawatomi Sportsbook website here.
Canadian football.
They got their own little tab.
Interesting.
Now we have an
For real?
NFL. We have an NFL game tonight. So
You know
we
they
don't
got
need
12
to-
guys on the field.
They do in 3 downs, bro.
Not for long though. They're changing all their rules. They're conforming. It's about to be called the Conforming Football League.
Industry standard.
They're
They wanna
going
get
to a
more guys.
100-yard field. They're getting rid of the larger end zones. They're getting rid of the forward motion.
I wonder if it's because they want to give their guys more of a chance to get looks in the NFL, right? Because of the situation.
And the XFL and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
I think
we-
also collegiately is the other interesting.
Yeah, we've been talking.
I think you could see a lot more guys play in the CFL before they come over here and potentially play collegiately if this G League Ignite situation is going to go down with Michigan State. and
Very
Louisville.
interesting. Can imagine a lot of real hardcore, old school, traditional salted earth Canadian football fans aren't going to like this.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
going to change our game for the Americans?
Oh, yeah.
Pissed off.
My friends in Regina, Alberta, Canada were not happy when I talked to those boys.
And you're on there a lot on that. He's on that station a lot.
Saskatchewan
Oh,
Rough
yeah,
Riders. They
they-
were not happy about it.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
What else do they talk on that radio station besides the Saskatchewan
Hockey,
Rough
right?
Riders?
A lot of NFL.
Interesting.
A lot of NFL. They're big NFL fans out
Love
there.
that.
They're going to be big fans of the game here tonight. Chargers and Vikings. We haven't talked a ton about this game.
Right.
Vikings coming off their bye. They're going to go with Wentz again. Sounds like JJ McCarthy just not quite ready to go. Returning off the IR, at least to practice, was Aaron Jones. Not positive if he goes here tonight for the Vikings. However, I'm going to talk about somebody, one of the bad boys. Bad boys, what you going to do? When they
Yeah.
come for you?
Run.
Well, Jordan Addison slept. That was the issue for him during his DUI that he served a 3-game suspension for. He is now back.
Okay.
Don't sleep on Jordan Addison. Don't be asleep at the wheel here because he, in his last 3 games, 2 have gone for 100.
Wow.
Last game, 9 grabs for $128, but no touchdowns against the Eagles. Had 1 against the Browns. Give me a Jordan Addison anytime touchdown tonight.
Okay.
Against the LA Chargers in Lipstick City, only to be matched by one of the best touchdown receivers in the National Football League this year. Armin, if I told you this man was finding a little bit of a fountain of youth in his old stomping grounds, how about 4 TDs on the season for Keenan Allen?
Pretty amazing. You know, he looked like he was cooked. You know, they did all the when he was with the Bears, of course. But
Yes.
a lot of people do.
That's fair. You would.
They were
probably too.
doing those memes of the old guys in the uniforms, but he's had another kind of rebirth here, and in a place he's more comfortable. Makes sense.
Yeah, he definitely went into there for a moment. Randy Moss, Jerry Rice, Dan Marino category where they're walking in after the photo shoot. but he comes in, a little fountain of youth, 44 grabs and 4 scores. Give me a Keenan Allen anytime touchdown here tonight. And the LA Chargers to walk away with a big-time Thursday night home win against the Minnesota Vikings and send Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings to 3-4 in 2025.
Yeah, I like that, Billy. And
it's plus 1150 at the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
It's going to be interesting to see. I hope you hit this one, but it's going to be interesting to see what the Vikings do. I mean, this has been a division that's played real well, as you know, and the Vikings have to keep pace now. They had a couple good moments early on, but now they're back to 500. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this one too. Following the NFC North has been interesting. Another strong year for this division.
It is
I'll be have eyes in this game tonight.
Dude, it is living up to it again.
Yeah.
It's living up to the best division in football once again. And tonight should be a very, very fun game in LA at SoFi Stadium. Chargers and Vikings, 7:15 kick on Amazon Prime.
Prime tonight. And I've been looking forward to the opportunity to call them the last place Vikings. Let's keep it up.
That's true.
Let's go.
You got
Chargers.
a chance to be able to do it and then dunk on them on maybe. Are you going to call into the Viking postgame show tonight?
That would be allowed.
If they lose,
be hilarious. Calling
record it, and then we can play it on the show tomorrow morning.
Get me on. I don't know if I'll still be awake. I gotta be honest with you.
That's fair.
I'm sorry. I can't promise that.
We need you rested and rejuvenated at 6 a.m. more than we need you calling Viking fan line at 1 in the morning.
I would love to call fan line. What do you think? When are they going to be on tonight? Probably at midnight or 1.
Oh, they'll probably get it around 11.
11:30.
Yeah, if any broadcast, they'll probably get it right around 11, 11:15.
That late. I was up that late last night.
Yeah, but for different reasons, Lottie.
You're 100% correct.
For
yes.
probably better reasons for you than I was, because you went to the Bucks game last night, and who was
not calling into any radio.
Goodness
shows,
knows what else you were doing afterwards.
All right, iPhone.
This man gets more leftover hotel room keys than a bellhop. Okay,
I'm so glad you said leftover keys. 877-794-1973. That's Armin Sarian.
Hotel room cards.
Yeah, you get the key card.
Well, that's what I've
man.
heard, at least.
In room 619. That is Andrew Ludwig on the other side, one of Milwaukee's most eligible bachelors. And he's available at 877-794-1973. I'm Billy Schmidt. It's no BS on the game.
After a successful home opener in a 5-3 win over Texas, Milwaukee hits the road as they travel to San Jose for the first time since 2017. Into the slot, he'll find Thompson. Left circle, shoots. Save made. Rebound score. Pre-game on Friday at 8:30. Face-off at 9 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Looking back at the world of sports, it's the iHeartRadio Weekend Sports Time Capsule.
What's happening, fellow sports fans? It's Andy West, and I'm here to take you on a journey back to this week in sports history. We'll start off in 1914. Babe Ruth makes his MLB debut, pitching a 4-3 Boston Red Sox win over the Cleveland Naps at Fenway Park. This week in 1934, Carl Hubble strikes out Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox, Al Simmons, and Joe Cronin in succession. But the American League comes back to win the All-Star Game 9-7 at the Polo Grounds. Staying in baseball, this week in 1955, St. Louis's Stan Musial hit Frank Sullivan's first pitch of the 12th inning for a home run to give the National League All-Star team a 6-5 victory over the American League at Milwaukee's County Stadium. The American League had led 5-0 after 6 innings. This week in 1972, Robert Irsay buys the stock of the LA Rams for $19 million and swaps the franchise for the Baltimore Colts. The players and coaches are not affected. This week in 1999, Team USA wins the Women's World Cup over China in sudden death. The Americans win 5-4 in penalty kicks, with defender Brandi Chastain kicking the game winner. And this week in 2010, Brian McCann's 3-run double in the 7th inning provided the National League all the offense it needed to capture its first Midsummer Classic since 1996 with a 3-1 victory.
And that's just some of what happened this week in sports history. The Weekend Sports Time Capsule on iHeartRadio. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
In May of 69, Neil Young releases his first album with Crazy Horse, Everyone Knows This Is Nowhere, featuring the songs Cinnamon Girl and Down by the River. The Who released a double concept album, Tommy, which goes top 10 in the US and the UK.
Even on my favorite table, he can't beat my best. His disciples needed him, and he just does the rest. Stop crazy, flipping fingers. Never seen him fall. That kept on the black kid. Sure plays a mean pinball.
David Bowie's single Space Oddity, released to coincide with the Apollo 11 moon landing, reaches number 5 in the UK. Also in July, Bob Dylan has a top 10 hit with Lay Lady Lay in his new, deeper-sounding vocal style, which he attributes to quitting smoking.
Whatever colors you have in your mind, I'll show them to you, and you'll see them shine. Lay, lady, lay, lay across my big brass bed.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears have a number 2 hit with Spinning Wheel, popularizing the so-called brass rock movement that includes BST, Chicago, and Electric Flag.
Drop all your troubles by the riverside. Catch a painted pony on the spinning wheel ride.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1975.
In June of 75, the Bee Gees released the LP Main Course, featuring a more dance-oriented sound, and delivered 3 hit singles, including the number 1 Jive Talkin'. In July, Fleetwood Mac shake things up. They add Americans Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks to the lineup and have a number 1 album. And Wings released the album Venus and Mars, which goes to number 1. Their U.S. tour features Paul McCartney's first live appearance in the U.S. since 1966.
Love is fine for all we know. For all we know, our love will grow. That's what the man said. So won't you listen to what the man said? He said.
In August of 75, the Eagles' 4th album goes to number 1 and has 3 top 5 singles, including the number 1 title track, One of These Nights. And the boss, Bruce Springsteen, is featured on the cover of Time magazine, and Born to Run becomes his breakthrough album, reaching number 3 in the U.S.
Come on with me, chance like us. Baby, we were born to run.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975. Coming up.
iHeartRadio soundtrack flashback.
Was there anything Queen couldn't do? Flash Gordon hit screens in 1980 and gave us a soundtrack / Queen album for the ages. The Flash theme still conjures positive vibes to this day.
King of the impossible. He's for every one of us.
For more great movie soundtrack hits, check out Popcorn Radio on the iHeartRadio app.
You're not going to believe this. He killed 16 Czechoslovakians. Guy was an interior decorator. His house looked like
A modern day warrior, mean strike.
One of the all-time moments in Sopranos history.
And then some.
That's one of the greatest episodes of any television show ever, as they're standing in the wood. 16 Czechoslovakians. The interior decorator. Also watching them try to fight over the remote.
Yep.
Great moment of that scene. Oh, phenomenal. Did not anticipate we were going to
I did
promptly and timely, and it was going to be, on topic to talk Sopranos and air some Sopranos, but the Mafia making noise today, alive in 2025, as 30 plus defendants in a nationwide scheme to rig poker games, along with NBA related gambling, and a couple of NBA persons being arrested here today. And it is guilty until proven innocent in the court of public opinion. Will be interesting to see how long this plays itself out. Portland Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups arrested for illegal gambling, that in terms of poker games. Terry Rozier and Damon Jones, former NBA player, arrested for their connection into the NBA insider trading of information part of the investigation. Now, that's the messy side of sports. And very, very messy it got here today. A lot messier than I think any of us were frankly thinking it would get to today. Then there's the good side of sports. And frankly, Armin, something that I thought we potentially were going to do hours upon here today. And we are going to have a lot of fun breaking down some Tom Izzo conversation tomorrow.
We were going to, but we'll do it tomorrow, because it's a big part.
Because we need some really good runway. This one, though, I think is one that you just want to know and realize that we see you, and maybe Joe Flacco sees you as well. Because as the ageless wonder, 41-year-old Bengals now quarterback said yesterday, you never really know when you're living the good life?
Go sit at a restaurant by myself and realize that, man, that's pretty enjoyable to do. After there's not too many situations. I tell people all the time. I mean, I used to see guys sitting at a bar by themselves, or just sitting by themselves eating and grabbing a little meal. And I'm like, man, I feel so bad for that guy. Like, you almost want to go join him. And now I realize, like, that dude was in heaven.
Yeah.
You never know when you're living the good old days. You never know when you're in the best spot you possibly could be in, when you're sitting there having dinner by yourself. Joe Flacco sees you, everybody.
Just a little piece of quiet. We are you. You are us, Joe Flacco. I've never found you more relatable in my entire life than you are right now.
I mean, Mickey Mantle, I believe, did he dunk his donuts?
That's Joe DiMaggio.
Joe DiMaggio
dunked the donuts. He was dunk his dinky donuts. Yeah, that's right. That's what he did. It's just very relatable, and it's
very relatable.
I like the way he kind of says it with like this sort of exhaustion, this sigh, like, yeah, man, I just want to sit alone and have my dinner. You know what I mean?
Sit back, maybe have a ribeye.
I never knew how good that
Twice
guy
baked
had it.
potato.
It's one of those things when you young cats grow
I know what
older.
I'm doing in the right
Yeah, that's a delicious thing. And you grow older and you get in that perspective, like, yeah, you never know the good old days until you have it. You never know the things you enjoy.
When we say the joke of, I wish I knew these were the good old days.
Sure.
You're going to think about that now with someone solo dining. What are your thoughts on solo dining? You in on it? You a solo diner yourself, or?
Well, you gotta sit at the bar if you're a solo diner, I'd say, right?
Really? I'll get a booth.
Depending
where
you're at.
Yeah,
if you're attached to a gas station, I can sit in a single booth by myself.
Sure. If I'm at George Webb's or something, yeah, it's a different deal, I guess. But a restaurant itself, I'm not taking like a table for 2 or 4 by myself. That's kind of rude. I'll sit at the bar, and you have the bartender to talk to. You don't have to look anybody in the face, which is kind of like,
like if
nice.
I don't have a date, my first time going into Carnivore, boom, bar, here we go.
And then
Hopefully
bar
she's cute.
and bar seating is usually available, right? You don't have to make reservations.
Make it a
for
little
bar
quicker.
seating.
Yeah. See, then I feel like I got to talk to some people. The part of solo dining that I'm actually enjoying is the fact that I might just be by myself.
I don't think the bartender needs to talk to you.
No, he doesn't. He's got a lot of stuff to do.
But then I feel like if you're at the bar, you're the target of what Joe Flacco mentioned there. I feel like I should go sit down and talk to him. I appreciate it, but I don't need it.
Depends on who sits down.
Yeah. If someone goes out, well, here we go again with Luddy.
Here we go, Luddy.
I mean,
and
the people you
listen,
meet.
Jeremy and Oshkosh was saying, if you need a wingman, the opportunity is right now. He's a great one. Jeremy and Oshkosh, handsome devil, by the way.
He is. I saw him macking on a girl at Summerfest. I don't know if that was before that was.
Macking.
I don't know. Yeah, she was. Yeah.
Let's go. All right, Jeremy and Oshkosh. That's what I'm talking about, brother.
Armin, you look at me like I'm crazy for saying that.
Right there. Come on,
we used to use that term, but you've seen everybody. I mean, know everybody. You've seen everybody hanging out in those type of
A lot of old souls we're talking
Over by
about.
the Rocks at Summerfest. He was having a good time.
The Rocks at Summerfest are a phenomenal time. Armin,
yeah, they were.
We're going to finish out the week strong tomorrow.
Let's do it.
And hopefully no gambling probes to get into. Or maybe it'll make a Fast Friday very different. Football Friday coming up tomorrow. Thanks to Matt LePay and all of you for joining us. It's been No BS on the Game.